All right, good evening. I'd like to open the November 8th meeting of the Wakefield Conservation Commission. First up, we have roll call. Let's see. Ken. I don't see Ken yet. Most of us probably got that Zoom update needed before we launched. We might be doing that. Haley.
He's there.
Here.
Jim.
Here.
Paul. Paul, you're muted.
Sorry, here.
Peter.
Here.
Teresa.
Here.
And I am here. All right, first up, we have approval of the minutes from October 17th. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion. The rest of you should have been right there.
Is there a second?
I wasn't at that meeting though, so I couldn't make that motion.
That's all
I'll
right.
second
I'll
it.
second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor? I don't see Ken yet. Haley.
Yes.
Jim.
Yeah, yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
Teresa, are you abstaining or?
I am, because I was not there.
Okay, I also vote to approve those minutes. All right. I do need to appoint a co-host with Ken not here. Any volunteers to be co-host?
Not me.
I'll second that.
Bob, why do you need a co-host?
If something happens with my connection
Sorry,
or
it's like
power,
it's like a vice president.
Yeah, right.
I get
exactly.
assassinated.
Okay.
I get overrun by wild.
It's more like first round.
Wild turkeys in Wakefield, Bob?
They are, yeah, they are pretty crazy. I'll tell you.
Yeah. All right. I can do that, I think.
Oh, Paul,
Right.
good, you're a good man, Paul.
You're right, Paul.
Paul, you're another co-host.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
In the event of my untimely demise, you will be taking over.
Okay. All right. Hope there's no need for that.
At least not tonight.
Yeah.
All right. First up is 520 Water Street, Joshua Arsenault. It's a request for determination of applicability for the construction of an addition and deck within a buffer to BVW. Is the applicant here?
Yes, I'm on here.
Oh, hi. Hi, Joshua.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Are you representing yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
So, over here at my house at 520 Water Street, I have a deck right now where the proposed addition is looking to go. I am not doing a foundation. The addition would be going on piers, and currently right now the deck is sitting on piers that I will have to redo to bring up to code. So I'll be using the exact locations where the current piers are for the deck. And I will be looking to put probably another 10 to 12 additional piers for the new proposed deck. I don't know if you have like any, if I turn the camera, will that help to show?
I do have the paperwork that you submitted, and I can share that.
So I don't know if everybody can see, but this is the current house as it sits right now. This is the deck here. This is the current house. And now this is what is proposed here is the addition is going to go right where the previous deck was. This is the new area where I'll be looking to put probably about 8 or 10 piers in the ground here, for a deck. And then also here, this is a little mudroom on the side of the house that will require probably 4 piers in the ground to put this mudroom there.
All right, so I'm sharing your plan actually right now, so everybody can see
Okay.
what you had just shown.
Sure.
All right, so we do have a note that Elaine did go out and confirm the wetland.
Yes. There's the Saugus River is out in the back there.
You're not proposing to take any trees down, correct?
No trees need to be removed.
And you said there's no foundation.
There will be no foundation.
Okay, but where is the resource?
It's so all those dots right there are just trees that Rebecca
Yeah.
Davis somewhat mark out in my backyard, and then the beyond my property line up the top.
Okay,
So the river is off your property.
The river is off my property by, I don't know, at least I'd say 30 yards. It's off the property.
Okay.
30 yards, you said?
At least 30 to 40 yards off the back of my property is where the river is.
Oh, is that why it's
So-
35 to 45?
So you might be about 100 feet away from the river, but within 200 feet of the riverfront.
Right, that's the point.
Yep.
Hmm. Do we know if there's any bordering land subject to flooding?
I don't get flooded here at my house currently. My neighbor next door, he's closer to the river than I am. He does not get any flooding as well.
Is that fairly level back there, Josh, or sloping or what?
It's fairly level for the most part. Yes.
Do you have any pictures?
I don't. No, I don't have any pictures.
Okay.
Bob, did Elaine say anything else? What did she?
Just that she visited the site and confirmed the wetland.
I can tell you what she wrote up to me after her site visit. She had gone out there and she wrote that there's red maple swamp, probably about 30 feet, 31 feet from where he's looking to do the new addition. So a little bit further from the existing. And at that location, the edge of lawn coincides with the floodplain
Okay,
in the back.
okay, so
And it's about 170 feet from the river.
okay.
Yeah.
So there is no real excavation other than digging for your supports.
Correct. Yes, I will not be. The only excavation will be on a piece of equipment, a drill, to an auger, if you will, to get down into the ground, and so I can put the foot, the concrete pillars in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So can I just ask, so what's, is the proposed deck and the proposed addition, both of those things are where the existing deck is now?
No, where the deck is right now is where the proposed addition is.
Okay, the proposed deck is new and the proposed addition on the easterly side is new.
Yes. Yes.
And those are all gonna be, as you just said, built on pillars, not on,
Correct.
and how much,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead, Teresa.
no, I was like, how much additional area is that? Just wondering.
How much additional square footage to the house?
Yeah,
I'm not positive, to be honest.
right, no, yeah,
Is the addition at the same level as the deck?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and no additional paving?
No, no additional paving. There's all pavement underneath the deck right now.
Okay.
So
And that
what's-
will remain?
That will remain, yes.
Okay.
So where are we procedurally on this? I'm sorry, just to refresh my memory here.
It's an RDA.
Right.
We're in this process right now.
I think it was a,
So
Peter,
there
that
was
was a question for the commission,
Oh, okay.
I believe. So it's a request for determination of applicability.
there's paperwork actually for this, then is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, Rebecca sent it to us just a little while ago.
Oh, okay.
So you want to know if we think it needs a permit?
Correct. Correct. Is it, yeah, I mean, the question really is, for an RDA, would it or could it have an impact to a resource area? Would this work, proposed work potentially
Yeah.
have an impact or not? Is
Yeah.
really the question for an
Well,
RDA.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's fine.
What's the plan for where equipment and
Mhm.
materials will be stored during
So
when you're doing this?
My whole front driveway right here, I have plenty of room. When this, I'll be doing some when I do this work that I'm proposing, I'll be doing interior work as well, where me and my family will be moving to some family's house for a little while this work's going on, because I have 3 little children. So it's not really conducive to live here while all the work's going on. So I'll have plenty of storage, out in the front of the house at the driveway out there. And, I can use all that space for whatever I need, really.
Any other questions from the commission?
Yeah, so Rebecca has visited the site, right?
Elaine
Elaine,
has.
Elaine.
Elaine saw it, okay. Is Elaine here is Elaine on tonight?
No.
No, Rebecca just read Elaine's notes, Peter.
Sorry, I'm a day late and $1 short. I'm sorry
Right.
about
You're getting her mad. Knock it off.
that. All right.
Peter, keep up.
No easy task, you guys move fast.
Any other questions from the commission? Jim, you're recommending a negative determination, I think you said?
Yeah, I think it's far. The terrain's relatively flat, is what you're saying. I really, there's nothing in here for. At least you should put a hay bale line up just to delineate the work area. But I think it's pretty safe to do that. There's hardly any excavation. The post holes that he's gonna do there, they're not big holes he's gotta dig. I don't
Right,
see
it's
that
just-
endanger
Just going
anything.
down, what, 4 feet?
Yeah.
So are you, make a motion? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'll make a motion that you give a negative determination.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye,
Amy,
Yes.
Jim,
yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. So Josh will be issuing a negative determination of applicability.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Do you want to say about putting up hay bales in the back?
I have no issue doing that when I proceed with the work. I can put up some hay bales and some scrim net, and if that make everyone feel fine, that's fine.
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? If not, Rebecca will get paperwork out to you.
All right. I appreciate it. Do you guys need anything else from me?
No, we're good.
All right, everyone. Have a great evening. Thank you very
Too.
much.
Yep, thank you. All right, moving right along. Next up, we don't have a file number yet, but it's 117 New Salem Street. Carol and Richard Hubbard. It's a public hearing notice of intent for the construction of an addition, replacement of a deck, repaving a driveway, pave a gravel area, and associated grading within the buffer to BVW. Is the applicant here?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name's Maureen Harold. I'm from Norse Environmental Services here on behalf of the homeowners, the Hubbard family.
Hello, Maureen. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Could I possibly bring in the plan to share with the commission?
You certainly can. Go ahead and share.
Thank you. Okay. Just scoot you guys over. Okay, so as the chairman had mentioned, we filed a notice of intent with the commission to construct a single-family addition. If you can see my mouse, I'm circling the proposed single-family addition. Replace a deck on this side of the dwelling. Repave the existing driveway. Here's the existing driveway. Pave an existing gravel area, which is shown here. Associated grading and utilities. So just to give the commission an idea of wetland flags, the wetland is shown in green on the plan. We're proposing the erosion controls in orange here. The 50-foot buffer is shown in this pink color, and the 100-foot buffer is essentially the entire lot. The proposed addition is 34.41 feet from wetland flag 7A. And this compact gravel broken pavement area, this is where the family parks their vehicles. It slightly encroaches within the 25-foot buffer. So we are requesting to allow us to pave this area so that the family can continue to park their vehicles here. And I can open it up to the commission with any questions or concerns.
Where's that 25-foot line?
So the 25-foot line unfortunately is not shown, but this setback right here, I don't know if you can see it, it's approximately 14 feet at the closest point. So it's a sliver of this area here that we're proposing. I have a photograph of this compact gravel pavement if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah, please.
Please.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna just stop sharing and bring it in. So this is the area that we're proposing to pave. This is the existing shed. I can bring the plan back in. So this is a multi-generational family that's proposing this addition to accommodate additional family members. So that's why we're proposing to pave this area. And I can bring the plan back in and show you where that shed is. I don't know how to do it without closing it out. So here's the shed that we saw in the photograph, and then the vehicles were around here.
So is this what'd you say this was, a notice of intent?
No, they're
Yes, sir.
somewhere on
Okay.
New Salem Street.
So I'm sure we got the paperwork for this somewhere, right?
I don't
This
see
is
it.
just a private house that wants to do something.
Somebody, I had to mute somebody that was cutting in. So sorry, Scott, it looked like it was you that I had to mute. All right, sorry, Jim, did you just ask a question or somebody did?
Well,
Yeah,
I was asking, I don't think I've seen this before.
yeah, I don't see anything that we've got a filing that was
And I
sent.
don't,
Rebecca said it's on the website. Yeah, so we were not emailed a copy of it. It's on the website. The notice of intent was filed.
Well, I haven't even been able to look at the application.
Right.
Okay, so we should get on the website and look at the
Yeah,
application.
we don't have a file number yet either.
There is a file number, isn't there? I see it on the,
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
Oh.
we did receive a file number. It's 313634.
4.
Okay, thank you.
No comments were posted from DEP.
So we need to schedule a site visit, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Before we do that, though, any more questions?
So the addition looks like 2/3 of the existing building?
I would say you're correct, just eyeballing it. So the addition is proposed within an existing driveway. So you can see back here, we have a garage. The existing driveway pretty much covers the entire proposed addition.
So how are you gonna get to the garage?
Well, the good news is the garage isn't used to house any vehicles.
Okay, it's just, okay, I gotcha. So you don't need to get a car there.
No, so that's the good news.
So the addition, it's paved under the addition now, or there's gravel under the addition?
Yes, ma'am, it's paved under the addition, and then beyond the addition, we have some gravel, and then we have a concrete pad right here towards the garage.
That's all existing. So I guess my question is, what's
Yes.
the increase in impervious surface?
Let's see, I have it on the plan, so let me just shift this over. And I'm gonna shift you guys over. So the existing lot coverage is 1495 square feet. The proposed lot coverage is 1836 square feet. So what's that? 350 square feet, give or take. And that's because I think the addition is going on existing pavement, so it's a bit of a wash.
but where
In
is?
terms of square footage.
Can you show where the 400 feet of additional, where the, what is not covered that will be covered? Can you just
It's
review
the
that?
paving of the gravel, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay, so the gravel is not counted on the 1495, but it is covered.
The gravel
Yes.
the gravel's not impervious, so it's,
see, it's kind of it's kind of how you look at it. So you're right, in general, gravel is not considered impervious. This is pretty compacted, so you could consider it impervious. But it's something we can certainly take a look at the site
Oh.
visit to see how the commission feels about it.
Let me just ask it differently. If that, where it says compacted gravel broken pavement were paved, would those two numbers be identical then? Would the existing coverage and the proposed additional coverage be identical?
I don't know. Can I get back to you on that?
Okay, I'm just trying to understand I'm just trying to understand what's new. That's all, nothing more. And if you're saying that it's 100% attributable to paving something that looks pretty impervious, then that's one answer. But if it's, the paving of the compacted gravel, if that's it, that would be one answer. But if it's not something else, I didn't know if you were expanding the length of the driveway, or because it looks to me like I'm not sure. It looks to me like they would be identical. I'm not seeing, and that's why I'm asking the question.
Right,
Well,
I
look-
just looked at the numbers and everything is the same except for the proposed addition. So the 341 square foot increase is for the proposed addition.
Oh,
So this
Does not
comp,
account for the gravel.
So that's already.
So now the gravel's,
area, though.
so the gravel's counted as being pervious, is that right? I mean, impervious.
Pervious, yes.
Yes, it would be
it's
right
not
now.
included on that chart. It's something that we can include on the chart, okay?
I don't understand that. though. My point would be that you're saying if the 341 is attributable, is the difference between the two, then And it seems to me that the compacted gravel broken pavement is treated exactly the same way under the existing and under the proposed.
I see, actually see
It's-
the note, it is 341. The actual proposed addition is 341 square feet. But that area is already paved, correct?
That area is already within the existing driveway,
Okay.
which is
so-
showed here.
No,
but-
not the
So that
addition.
means
I-
that they're already counting the compacted gravel as impervious. So your only addition
Not
there is
necessarily.
the addition.
No, but that's all I'm trying to say is that you can't, because you can't, then you're not gonna have a 341 square foot proposed addition.
Right, but do you guys see the note, proposed addition, 341 square feet?
Right.
It says the addition, that is the addition size. But I guess the question is, the addition is already on a paved surface, correct? It's already paved in that area.
Mhm.
That is correct.
And by the way,
So-
lot coverage, I'm assuming that's for zoning, not for our purposes.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
the lot
so,
coverage in zoning has a different definition than we're looking at, I think, so.
so I can get the numbers squared away for the commission and have that table updated. That's correct. This plan is for zoning because we need to go to zoning board of appeals.
Mhm.
To get a
Just-
variance?
Yes, that's correct. And we're in the process of applying. It's not, we haven't been in front of them. We haven't received approvals, but it's in the works.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
The wetland that you delineated, it's a bordering vegetated wetland, correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you check for floodplain elevations?
This lot is not shown within the FEMA floodplain,
Okay.
and that's in the notice of intent package.
Okay,
you'll
and is there any stream associated with this?
Yes.
Where is the stream?
Can you see my mouse? It's right
Yeah.
along the property line.
Oh, I see.
So it says
note
bank, it says
Yeah.
bank.
Right.
Okay.
Now between the
So we need to
compacted
see-
gravel driveway, is there some sort of fence or barrier between the property where they have pavement or whatever it may be at the moment and the wetland line?
No.
So what is the resource area implications of there being a stream? I'm sorry, can we just discuss that?
It just, the wetland that's associated with it is considered a bordering vegetated wetland because it borders on a stream.
So is it an intermittent stream?
Yes.
It's actually marked as a swale. I see a note, swale.
Well, that's because a surveyor did the plan.
Okay.
It's not shown on the most current USGS topographic plan.
Okay. I'm gonna share my screen for a moment just to show
Sure.
aerial.
Here we go.
Okay, here's the property. And we can see the gravel area that is being parked on currently.
Can you do that area, Bob?
Yeah.
It looks, it kind of looks to me like I guess what I'm trying to understand is it looks to me like so the existing driveway does go all the way over to where where that truck is parked. I see. There's
You
two,
can see the driveway here.
Yeah,
and then the
there's a line.
gravel-
That's
Gravel
right.
is here.
so that all that gravel is going to get paved. Okay, that's what I wanted to understand. So there's that driveway. And is that one of the reasons you need a variance? Because you need the curb cut? Is that part of it or?
So Brian Winters, the attorney that's
Okay.
going for the
Yes.
variant. I believe we need it. for the lot coverage of impervious area, and we might need it for the deck on the
Facade, yeah.
easterly side. We'd like to replace that. It's proposed a little bit closer than to the property line.
I see, so it's a lot line issue, got it. Okay. Okay.
Is the pool that is shown in this aerial still there with the structure around it as well?
Yes.
Okay. And your drawing showed something about gravel in front of that structure. Is that going to be paved?
No.
Okay.
Maureen, can I ask a few questions?
Sure.
Do you know when that shed and pool and gravel area, independently of each other, when all of those were put up? Because when I look at the Google Earth timeline, it looks like that pool appears somewhere around 2018. I don't have a filing. I don't have a previous filing on this that I could find. So that pool and the shed looks like it comes around. It doesn't show up in the April 2018. And then the gravel, it just looks like it was treed, and then it looks like a little kind of, so if you go to the 2014, it's all trees on the side. And then incrementally gets a little bit more cleared. And I don't know when, can you to ask them when they added that gravel there?
I sure can. I can get you dates.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
But certainly I can provide that probably by the site walk so
Yeah.
that the commission, will have an idea.
The other thing is, can I get some data sheets to correspond? If it's kind of the same all the way across the whole BVW line, obviously just one, if it's representative of the whole thing, we can just take the one, including the new data sheets with the soils info on it as well. Okay. And then
Sure.
lastly is, when are you guys planning on going to the ZBA? 'Cause, usually folks go to the ZBA first and then come to us after. On just what's the plan time wise?
So I can check with Brian and get you an idea. I know he was working on the application. I haven't spoken to him recently, so I don't know the status. I haven't heard it's been filed, so I'm assuming it hasn't been, but I can certainly find out,
Okay. Yeah.
when it
Great.
was out.
Okay, thanks.
Chances are we won't decide this until that's decided.
Well, the commission and the ZBA, it's like two separate entities, right? So even if the commission decides to possibly approve this project and the ZBA denies it, well, we can't build it. So, and vice versa. So it gets
Understood.
tricky for consultants and attorneys because it's like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? So it's just a matter of filing with the different boards and commissions and trying to get on the same page, so.
Do we know when the garage was built? Is that relatively new as well?
I don't know, but I can find out.
Okay, and the garage, as the plan, am I right that the plan contemplates that the garage will be able to, you won't have room to park to drive a car into the front of the garage? Is that right?
That's
Yes.
what Maureen just said, yes.
Yeah.
That's correct. The homeowners don't currently use it to park vehicles at the moment. It's
Well,
more of a storage
Yeah,
facility.
Yeah, and kind of you just covered the concern that I have at the moment. So I just didn't know if there's another if there's a another component to it that's gonna be on the road. Someone buys the house, for example.
I don't believe the family has any intention on selling the house.
Mhm.
You know, this is gonna be a multi-generational home. The single-family addition is for additional bedrooms for the family.
I understand. Okay. So can you just show the first frame that you had done with the plan? Just want to take a look one more time. The very first thing that you put up with the
Sure. Okay.
thank you.
Sure.
So with that. Okay. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you very much.
No problem.
All right, any other questions at this time?
So just to schedule the site visit?
Right.
What's your schedule these days, Bob?
Well, it's dark now. Long before I get out of work.
No, I meant on the weekends.
Oh no, I'm still booked. Yeah, work out something that, I guess the majority can make.
Yeah, as you said, we can't do evenings anymore, so.
Yeah,
Yes, good Saturday, Sunday, yeah. How about this Sunday?
suggestions? Any
Is it
suggestions from anyone?
About
Usually
Friday.
Saturday or Sunday morning, typically.
I thought you said you couldn't do it.
I cannot, but for the rest of you,
Yeah, some of us can't do weekdays.
Yeah, weekdays are tough for me.
yeah, I cannot do weekdays.
Right, so there's at least 3 of us that cannot do weekdays. So I'm gonna throw out there,
Monday?
Peter, you said. What'd you say, Haley?
He said Sunday.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
said Sunday.
I was just curious what this Sunday looks like, or I'm just throwing it out as a,
Yeah, Sunday is fine. It's Sunday at 8, Sunday at 9, Sunday early.
either
Depends
one.
if it's getting breakfast.
Oh, please, not early.
Oh, Jim, you have to go out to breakfast, right? So you can't, how about Sunday night? Would that do? Would that work for you? Is that?
No, I can do Sunday.
Okay, so we have 3 of us that can do this Sunday. How about Paul? How about you?
I can do it before 9:30.
All right, that's good. We like to do it early in the morning.
Okay, how about?
No, we
Haley?
don't.
How
Pardon
about
me?
8:30?
Oh,
Fine.
I hate mornings, but
No, I
yes.
heard somebody say 9. 9 would work for Paul.
Well, yeah, because
As long as it's no longer than a half an hour, I can do that.
Yeah,
you
it
can,
shouldn't be that.
you can look at it for 30 minutes. Let's just stick with 9. So Jim, Paul, Teresa, me, Haley, you can do it.
Yes.
Bless you.
God bless you,
That's,
Peter.
um,
All
that's
right,
your
All right, so that's
Sunday at 9.
this coming Sunday, correct?
Yes.
Maureen, is that all right with you and the applicant?
Yes, it's fine with me. I can verify with the applicant. I'm sure it'll be fine with her. You know, she's anxious to hopefully get this addition. It's the commission's next meeting that this might get continued to.
Tuesday, the 21st
Okay,
of November.
Okay. So if the commission is all set, I'd like to request a continue to the 21st.
Very good. And most of the commission, I guess we'll see you Sunday morning. Will you be there?
I will be there.
Okay. Most of the commission will see you Sunday at 9 a.m.
Great. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you. Yep.
All right, we have 4 minutes before our next hearing. Any business you'd like to take care of, Rebecca, right now?
Something quick.
Yeah. we have some tree removal requests.
Can we-
I think
Oh.
Jim went to do the site visit for the certificate of compliance.
Which was,
600 Salem Street?
10 Salem
Right.
Street. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so I called, what's his name now?
John,
John, I called John and had him come over there with me with the plans. And we went through the checklist that the commission was sent. Do you have that checklist? But the gist of it is that everything was there that was supposed to be there. There's a couple of things that were a little bit off in location, but not towards the resource further away in the buffer zone. And I'm not talking a lot, I'm talking maybe 5 to 6 feet.
And so you're recommending we issue the certificate of compliance, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's pretty well established. It's been there for years. I don't see an issue with it.
all right,
We vote on it now?
Is that a motion?
yeah,
I'd like to make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance.
is there a second?
Teresa, go ahead.
Second.
I can't do it all the time, Jimmy. It's too much.
Any discussion?
It's too much.
All right, all in favor? Haley,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
and I also vote yes.
If we have 2 minutes, Bob,
We do.
can we talk? There's been just such a flurry of emails trying to schedule a meeting, and I just didn't know. I want to make, and I don't have anything on my calendar. I just want to know, did I miss something? Is there a meeting scheduled? There's just been so many emails
The
about that.
13th.
Is it? Okay, December 13th.
Yes.
Yes, December.
Yeah,
Do
but
you
we
guys-
haven't gotten an invitation, so it's not on our calendar yet. I
Yeah.
have another question. Judy, you emailed us about an open space committee meeting next week, but aren't there designated members of the Conservation Commission that are supposed to be there? I was confused as to why you sent it to the whole commission, just for our information.
Because it's the commission that's going to approve the plan.
Right,
So if you have input, that would be helpful.
but again, it's not on our calendars. I
It's not on my calendar. It's gonna be a
Right,
problem.
but I sent you, right, but the agenda has you can click on the link and it'll go onto your calendar.
But you sent it yesterday, or today, Judy.
Now I have to wait. It's on so it doesn't go onto my calendar unless you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to go to the agenda. I just didn't realize that. My concern is that I'm going to miss something because it's not on my calendar. I won't show up, and
Right.
I don't want that.
And did we know about the 13th? Because I didn't know of that date, so unfortunately,
Yeah, I've talked about the last couple of meetings.
at the 13th. Okay,
Okay, I'm still having a problem with
It's the
this.
15th.
sorry, the 15th. Sorry, Judy. It's a week from tonight.
Okay, so wait, on the 15th, we have another,
It's an open space committee.
and that's at 7:00.
6:30.
No, I'm sorry to say I cannot make that.
Okay. If you want to take a look at the attachment and if you have any comments, or if you have any goals that you want added,
Okay, Judy, I'll do that.
thank you.
Is it a Zoom meeting?
Yes,
Well, that shouldn't be hard to have everyone go see. We're here.
Unless you have another meeting scheduled, which I do.
That's right. It's a,
Oh, that's more important.
Again, I'm sorry if I was asleep at the wheel and not knowing that that date had been scheduled, so I'm sorry.
yeah, no, but I'm glad it's not just me that's been. mean,
No,
there's
I don't.
so-
if
There's
it-
been
if
so many emails that,
If I don't get an outlook, so we're talking about two different things, open space and then the special presentation on stormwater, two different things.
Correct.
yes, but the common thing about them is that neither
There's
one.
no invitation, right? It's not,
That's right, without an invitation.
right, it's not on our Outlook calendar, so it doesn't exist.
Lesson until.
Yes.
Okay,
So the stormwater meeting doesn't actually exist yet. It really actually doesn't. So that's why you don't have a calendar invite, because we
Okay,
haven't.
that's good. Okay.
So it makes
I'm
sense
happy-
if you don't have one. But
I'm just
before
happy
we,
that we're having, I'm just happy that we're having this discussion because I just didn't want the meeting. I didn't want, that was one thing I resolved to make sure that I didn't leave this meeting without a clear idea of what was coming up. So,
we have to decide if you want it in person or Zoom. And then in the event that you want it in person, which I always think is better, I will have to just coordinate and ensure that I can find a place for us to do that. Last time we did it at the town hall, I think we got kicked out.
Right, we did get kicked out.
So I don't know if there's a better location. I can look into that and let you guys know. I just want to know your first preference. And if it doesn't work,
have to be a Zoom, but it has to be a Zoom meeting, even when we meet in person. Doesn't it have to be available by Zoom?
Yes.
it does get, yes, that's what we did in the town hall that has that
Right.
capability of hybrid, so that it is.
So it
available.
has to be in town hall. There's no other place. Where else could it be, Rebecca?
I
Does
think
the
there,
library have something like that?
No,
but there's another location that I can't think of off the top of my head. Judy, where's the other place that they have the hybrid capabilities?
at WCAT, I don't know that that's an option.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I doubt that's an option.
All right, let me look into whether or not we can have the, I'll first, you know what I'll do? First, I'll find out from Stacy how long it's going to be. And then I'll find out if I can ask that the town hall stay open for that one evening for as long as the anticipated time. And then I'll get back to you guys. And if it's not an option, we'll just do the Zoom.
Yeah, because there was an open window where we had the town hall up until, I forget what time it was.
I think it was 9.
9, maybe. yeah.
9.
Yeah, we certainly wouldn't need it that long.
Right.
All right, so while I have you guys, do you guys have a preference of start time? Do you want to do 7?
Yes.
7, yes.
All right, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, any early is extremely difficult for me, I know.
So it's just those 2 special meetings. So is that right? Or do we have are we gonna have another meeting to just for any other discussions that are on deck?
Not that I know of.
Well, we have the next
Just our
Conservation
regular meeting.
Commission at the 21st.
Okay.
Judy, if that ever happens again, I don't know if you have the capability to send an invitation, but that would be most welcomed. Judy,
Okay,
thank you.
All right, we're now behind schedule. So we will pick it back up after. We have, let's see, 154 Salem Street, L&L Development LLC. Public hearing abbreviated notice of resource area delineation for approximately 410 linear feet of BVW and 751 linear feet corresponding to mean annual high water. Is the applicant here?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thorson Akerley, wetland scientist, and registered sanitarian with Williamson Sparages, here representing L&L Development. This was good. How are you guys?
Good.
So this was a property that we had submitted an ANRAD for back in 2020, and we reviewed the wetlands back then. Actually, I believe I reviewed them with you. I think Greg Hockmuth had flagged them originally. But this is the parcel right here on Mass Mapper. The wetlands border along Mill River, which comes across the back of the property here. And you can see the wetlands creep in down here. And predominantly the lot is entirely undeveloped at this point, but borders along Salem Street and houses along Salem Street. So the plan that we had submitted to you back in 2020 has not changed. We replaced the flags that were there. I had gone out a few weeks ago and reviewed the delineation again, refreshed my mind with a new delineation manual. And I really didn't think there was anything that needed to change. We were pretty conservative, I think, to be honest, out here. There had clearly been some historic activity out here. You can see there's a sewer easement and sewer section of sewer that runs through the property here. I believe the property had historically been used as a gravel pit. I know there's a lot of nice sand out there from augering around. But we did submit new data forms with the ANRAD application. And I suppose at this point, all that's left to do is to get out there and review it again. So I'm happy to answer any questions the commission may have. But if not, I'm happy to schedule a time to visit the property and take a look again. I should note that the mean annual high flags are again off the property over here, but they're relatively easily accessible and a bit more straightforward than the wetland flags.
Yeah, we do have a note that either Rebecca or Elaine do need to get out and confirm the flagging. Would the commission like to also visit this property?
Yeah, I think I would like to see it.
Yeah, I would too.
You want-
8:30 on Sunday?
I was thinking the same, well, then, yeah, Paul, that's gonna, so we just squeezed Paul in for one, and
We have to go earlier than 9.
yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get them both, it wouldn't be a bad idea to try to get them both lined up, like 8:15 or something, or, I mean, 8:30, I mean, 30 minutes is that gonna be enough to? Might
It
be,
should be.
okay,
Depends how many questions there are, but
Exactly, it should be enough.
It could be.
Maybe we
If
should be
everyone's,
there at
if everyone's
8:15.
timely. At 8:30.
What's the weather for Sunday?
It's
that's good.
clear. Right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
it's clear, I believe. Clear and cool.
Yeah,
So 8:15, 8:30, one of those two?
I would suggest 15, yeah.
8:15.
Alrighty, 8:15 on Sunday.
I want you to know you're killing me.
And we still will need Elaine to get out there, or Rebecca.
Yeah, I know we're off of the prior filing, but that was true, the prior filing too.
Yeah.
Do we have that filing in current packets?
It's on the
It's on
website.
the website.
Okay.
Right.
Downloaded it then. The other site visit is shown as 9 PM though, so that's kind of the wrong time.
I just fixed it.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any questions while we have Thorsten here? Or just see him on Sunday? No questions? All right, the majority of the commission will see you Sunday morning.
Okay, thank you all very much.
All right, thank you.
Good night.
Good night. All right, we have some time to get back to old business or new business. We're all set with 600 Salem Street certificate of compliance. Rebecca, you want to take any of the tree removals or the utility maintenance activities?
The one, I could probably fly through all of them.
Okay, pick one.
Start at
Anyone, Vernon?
Yep, I think I sent you guys Elaine's notes on that.
Yes, you did.
I'm not sure if the homeowner is present.
Yes,
Yes.
we are present. Hello.
Good. Hi. You guys
Alright.
meet with Elaine?
We did.
Okay.
Lane Vreeland came to for a site visit after we had Keith's tree service come. We like to work with Wakefield businesses. We've worked with them twice, I think.
Yeah.
Including once earlier this year with a white pine that had a very large white pine tree that we love, that had dropped branches on both our property and our neighbor's property, so they're familiar with us. And this tree removal request is in that area. And we're aware that you can't have like a lot of heavy equipment in that area, and they know how to work with it.
Rebecca, did we get a letter from Keith?
I don't have one. I think Elaine mentioned that Keith was gonna send a letter over? I don't have one yet.
Yeah, we understood that they were gonna send a letter that they had.
I will double check, but I have not seen it, but I'll, you know what, right now I'll zip through my emails to, maybe I missed it. So just give me a sec, but
Sure.
Bob, you also have pictures?
I do. Okay, bear with me for a minute. Just to confirm for the record, Lee Montgomery and Chris Hartman, 391
Yep.
Vernon.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Let me look for pictures.
Yeah, I think Jay took some pictures.
I don't have a letter yet from Keith's tree.
I'm sorry, was that something that we were supposed to forward?
Sometimes they send it directly to us.
Okay.
Did they send it to you?
You sent in the
Gosh,
letter, right? You asked them to send the letter in to the commission?
Yeah, there was a bit of an exchange. I apologize. I can't quite recall the path here, but
I thought that Jay had taken some pictures. He didn't send those in?
Actually, I just found the pictures.
okay, great.
I'm sharing those now.
There were like two trees at this sort of unified sort of crotch, and one had fallen over to our neighbor's yard. It was
Right.
fairly large, and the other one is sort of suspended. I don't know. I mean, Jay seemed to think that it would be best to get rid of that because it's sort of weakened.
Yeah, so the tree that fell, it's fallen kind of along the property line. And now we do understand now that anything that falls in a wetland is supposed to be left there. And our neighbor is actually okay with leaving it there, if that's preferable. Just to kind of roll it in there to let it decompose and contribute to the kind of the wetland.
Right, we were
there.
just concerned about the fact that this tree standing is in a wetland.
But then there is this upright part that he seems to think is a fall risk. And if there's trauma
Well, the
to
roots
it,
have been weakened,
then it might fall toward
like in a windstorm.
our
So
property.
the tree I'm circling with my cursor, that's when it's leaning that could be compromised
Correct.
because there is exposed roots and stuff inside there. Here's the one
Yeah.
that's fallen already.
We're concerned that that root system may have been weakened.
Are they definitely two separate trees, or are they one tree and one is it had a V and it just snapped off?
That's
Is
a
it-
great question.
It's a good question. I mean, it is very, it definitely looks like it's decomposed there. So we didn't know if it was, there were
Well, they
two
looked like they were conjoined in some
Yeah.
way.
or if just it's been so wet that the other tree is in a similar state, or the other part of the tree. We thought they were part of the same tree. They may be two separate trees
With the same root system.
with the same root
Right.
system. Again, this is probably about like 100 yards from the Saugus River, and when
we're up the river.
we moved here 23 years ago, we were told it's not in a floodplain. It is near the river. I'm sure that's why it's situated here along with the road. And unless the water comes up to where those trees are, we know that like the basement is not going to be wet. Like it generally doesn't get that high, but in recently it has gotten that high. Like the water is coming up further.
Yeah, more than previously.
So this is actually a hardwood tree. I thought it was an ash tree. Jay said that it was an oak tree, which is a hardwood. So which concerns me. You
Yeah,
know,
if
a
it falls
hardwood
on our
tree.
place.
We're conservationists, you know, we like to retain the trees, but if it is in a similar condition, it looks like it's about the same age. If it's not part of the tree, it looks like they were from, you know, acorns of that era,
Oh.
that it may be in a similar condition in which it would fall toward.
So it's
uh,
leaning toward our kitchen where we are now. So
So
that's,
we need the letter from Keith before we can do anything further.
Right, we do
What
need to
was
see
the
that letter.
What was the letter gonna say?
It's gonna say exactly what these folks said,
What's that?
that the tree is compromised, it's gonna fall down, even though it looks like on top that it's still a healthy tree, I guess. But again, some rationale for taking it down.
Right. I mean, is Keith's gonna take it down? They're the ones taking it down, right?
they have a proposal, they have a scheduled date, they
Okay,
did say.
so I think that they would be happy, they would write us a letter, but you can understand that we want some written, you know, we want a written expert opinion in our file to,
absolutely understood.
Yeah, I think they have the arborist,
Well, you contacted Jade and they were
Yeah.
gonna send a letter.
yeah, I'm sorry, I guess we need to close the loop on it.
All right, so yeah, get us a letter. And we'll take it from there.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you for
Thank
all
you.
you do. Thank you for all you're doing, staying up late, you know, helping us out. It's much appreciated.
You're welcome. So yeah, send us a letter over and then we'll be back in contact.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Cheers.
All right, we still have time. 74 Kendrick. I know Elaine was out for that.
I think she has pictures as well. It's at the
Yeah.
same day that the previous picture, the pictures for the previous tree removal. I will just mention the laptop just died, so I can't jump on anymore to look things up. Hopefully in another couple minutes. I just charged it, but I think I had sent to you Elaine's
it.
on it.
Yeah, I do have it.
Are the property owners here?
I think they're both out of town or they're unavailable tonight.
I believe they were at another meeting, but then planning to try and hop on. They had emailed through the commission email earlier.
Okay.
All right,
We
hang
could-
on. Let me get the
We could
pictures.
procrastinate then and see if they come later.
All right, I've got yeah, I don't know if that's necessary. I've got the pictures, but it's kind of hard to see. I will share. Anyways, we do have Elaine's notes. There's a stand of white pine trees behind this house, all of which are either dead, advanced, or beginning stages of the white pine blight. 3 of the trees he wants to be removed are right on a wetland edge, and the 4th is less than 10 feet away. From what I can see, the rest will die off within the next few years. I sent you photos which really don't do justice to how thin the needles are. So I guess you can see on this particular one how thin it is compared to the surrounding trees.
So there are 4 in a cluster here?
Yeah, kind of 4 in a row. Let's take a look at the other pictures.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
So I think, I don't know if that's the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at the other picture. Yeah, so there's 2 of them, 3, there's 3, and the other one was around the other corner.
So unlike the other one, Elaine didn't say we should get a letter. I guess thinking that these pictures tell the story.
Well, her commentary, I guess, the pictures it says do not give it
Give
justice.
justice, right?
Yeah.
So what is the point? Just as a huge gigantic tree that if it were to fall,
Well, they're all dying or dead
oh, okay. Okay,
and will be dead soon, if they're not dead yet.
okay, that's not apparent to me just from looking at the pictures.
Yeah, this one you can see clearly is different than the others. This middle one here.
Okay.
Much thinner than this one to the right. And it looks like this one on the left is pretty thin also. Actually, these three appear to be much thinner than this
There's
one.
one on the right.
Yeah, she's confirmed they all have blight.
Bob, can you show the aerial map? Is this the one that's close to the water?
Yeah, Hogs Pond is right behind it. Yeah, let me get to maps. All right. So here's the property, street. This body of water known as Hogs Pond. Actually goes under the street and drains into a wetland over here. And there's also a wetland here that's connected. So the house is here, the house is, the trees are in back of the house, I believe, like right here
Mhm.
on the photos.
Right.
So there'll be no shade anymore to that area of the pond.
So let's see.
What are you proposing to cut
East.
down? All four or three of the four?
This is pretty much, the house is pretty much situated north to south.
Which
So
is
north being
Yeah,
top
right.
land, south being here.
So the eastern sun, the morning sun would shine. Shine on the water. Yeah,
Well, it'd be hitting the house.
Right.
so the house provides a little shade, but
Yeah. It is 2 stories with a attic.
Are those the only trees in the back though? Are there trees behind those trees?
There are some oaks and stuff I could see from the picture.
Right, behind,
Um,
right?
Here's the
I
street
see.
view. So it looks like possibly 1, 2, 3. Can't really see with this tree in the
there's
way.
really nothing behind him to speak of, so.
Yeah, there's some brush and maybe some other smaller trees immediately
But the
behind.
one on the left, the one that you called number one, that looks like it's got a lot of growth.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is or not though.
Because that one at least has a lot of growth and it looks like it's also less likely, it's not really right in back of the house.
Yeah, these two for sure, right? From looking at the pictures.
You don't know when that photo from Google was from though, too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So 2 and 3 look like they're in the worst shape, and they're the ones that are directly in back of the house. And number 2 is kind of skinny and scrawny anyway. It doesn't look like it's providing a lot of shade.
Yeah, it's hard to tell which one's which here.
But number 2, the skinny one, looks like it's just not really. It doesn't really have a lot of. It doesn't look like it's doing a lot. And number 3 looks like it doesn't have a lot of growth on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure which ones are which. You can't really tell because you don't see the house in any of these 3 pictures.
Has anyone been
Um,
out, has anyone been out and is it, I guess my.
Elaine has.
Okay, did she make a recommendation or not?
Yeah, her
Yes.
recommendation is they're all either dying or dead.
Oh, okay, well, you know what? That's, okay, we
And if
send her
they're not
out.
dead, they'll be dead soon.
Okay, my inclination is to rely on Elaine's, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go against Elaine's recommendation, and she was the one who was out there and saw it, and saw
So,
it.
can I ask you a question? Is it our policy to require a letter though, or do we not require a letter when it's so obvious? I thought we always required a letter, but I could be wrong.
Well, who's gonna be taking down, do we know who's gonna be taking down the trees?
Not yet, I don't think. I'm looking at the policy. Well, it says if the homeowner contends that the tree is dead or diseased and therefore compromised, prior to approval, a letter from the licensed arborist attesting
Okay.
this will be required. But in this case, we have Elaine that's gone out and attested that they are
Okay.
dying or dead. I would think we would take that in place of an arborist.
Okay.
That'd be my interpretation.
But do all of the landscaping companies that they would use, like Keith's, they have their own arborists, right?
Not all of them do.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, so what's the consensus? Based on the policy, it would appear that they could take the trees down without any type of replication.
Right,
Because
because they're dead and or dying, right?
Correct, correct. I'm just looking at the policy.
Did Elaine say what the distance was to the closest,
Three of them are right on the edge, and the fourth is less than 10 feet away. Judy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that would require. Let's see. I don't know that it's totally clear. But I don't think we've required replication for dead or dying trees.
I don't think we did either, Bob.
Yeah, I'm not skimming through the policy. I don't see anything that says we would in that case. Or it's not clear in the policy. I'm not sure which. We need to, I guess, reread that just to make sure. All right, so do we have a motion? We got 8:14 right now.
Before you make your motion,
Yep.
just suggest that maybe you don't want them to grind the stump down if it's right at the wetland edge. Maybe just kind of cut it flush to the ground as opposed to doing the grinding.
Well, that's our policy in general, right? Is to leave the stump.
No, what about a snag? Because, we've got this would be a prime thing for a snag, I think. It's in the woods. It's not in a area that it's in a wooded area, so it's not like it's in the middle of someone's backyard.
Well, it is actually. The house is pretty close to the water and the tree is right there too.
But it could be a 4-foot or, not as tall a snag.
Yeah, you need to be careful with the height of the snag because it could come down on the house.
Right, but if
We'd
it's
have to-
4
we'd
or
have to-
6 feet, then it's
We'd have
not.
to
gonna-
figure what would be acceptable.
Well, if it's 10 feet away and it's a 6-foot snag.
Oh, I thought you were wondering it would be more difficult to take the tree down if you had to leave 6 feet, if you had to cut it 6 feet up.
No, I guess my point was if you left a 15-foot snag and now it's
Well,
10
no,
feet away-
a snag is supposed to be 6 feet. We talked about that, right? Isn't that the ideal?
Yeah, there was an ideal height and a height that at
At
some
least
point
6
didn't
feet
make
above
sense.
grade, up to 15 feet high.
Okay.
What was the minimum?
To at least 6 feet above grade and up to 15 feet high.
So between 6 and 15 feet. How close is it to the house?
Let's see, 3 of the trees, right on the edge of the wetland, the 4th is less than 10 feet away. It doesn't say how close to the house they are.
Seems like we could ask for the snags unless there's a reason not to then.
Or at least on the 3 that are further away from the house.
Yeah. Seems fair.
Yeah, going
And a
back.
6-foot snag is, I mean, I know that we had done that when someone's like in the middle of someone's backyard. We're not telling people to do this, you know, in their mowed backyard, you know, we're not asking for that, but here it's different. It's in the woods.
On the edge of the wetland, yeah.
And actually would provide, it looks like it would be exactly the kind of place we would want to have a snag.
Yep.
Yeah, we just have to be aware of the height that we'd be asking for. Maybe get some more clarification
Well,
on that. What would be an appropriate height? All right. So somebody want to make a motion?
So I move that we approve the removal of the trees, but that we require that there be snags in place for at least the 3 trees that are furthest away from the house.
with no replication.
Well, yeah, Bob, I just took a quick peek. I think replication is only needed if it's a live tree. So I know
I think so too. I just don't know if it clearly states that.
if it states that,
Right,
it does state that.
that it's only if it's a live tree.
Yep. The loss of the tree mitigation requirements and conditions. The loss of live trees in a resource area, especially those removed within, shall require replacement. The loss of live trees.
Right, these are live trees, or some of these are live.
So you're saying they're not dead, they're just diseased.
Right.
Right, that's why I'm saying it's not,
They're not dead yet.
right, and that's why I'm saying it's not totally clear in the policy.
Yeah, it does not say disease.
Also quote Monty Python. We'll see
Yeah.
you next Thursday then.
So it does need to be clarified in the policy.
Yeah, you're right, it does, because it says live as opposed to, right.
So anyways, we are late here, so we have a motion to
Right there.
take the trees down and leave snags for 3. Is that what the
Yeah, I'll
motion was?
second that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And any discussion? All right, all in favor? Haley,
Yes.
Jim,
Yeah, yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
I
Teresa.
don't want to. I'm just going to throw a monkey wrench in this because if they're live trees, why aren't we requiring replacement? Again, sorry. And where could live? I'm happy to pick this up again when we're done with the next hearing, but I don't know. They are live. So,
Live but diseased
right.
and won't be live long. Based on Elaine's,
Already.
she is saying that they're all clearly diseased at different stages potentially, but all have the same blight.
Yes.
Okay, I have also vote yes. All right, we do need to have some recommendations, I guess, from Elaine as to height of snags. But we can table that and have her make recommendations. All right, let's move on. Next up, DEP 313-632 60 Farm Street, Town of Wakefield Permanent Building Committee, public hearing continued. Notice of intent for the construction of a new high school building, track and field, parking and circulation, utilities within land underwater, inland bank, and a buffer to bordering vegetated wetlands. All right, good evening, Erin.
Hi, how are you tonight?
Good.
We have kind of formulated a strategy for this evening, of course. Unfortunately, we received our review comments from the town engineer, which is excellent news, but the timing of it didn't allow us to fully digest them and certainly not prepare a response and revise drawings and calculations. So I'm afraid we're not prepared to discuss what Bill Renault and his team have commented on the project yet. But what I'd like to do in the meantime is spend some time reviewing some open items from the last time we were before you 2 hearings ago, if that sounds all right.
Yeah, that sounds great because we actually just saw the comments ourselves.
Okay, all right. And I assume they were copied to DEP as well, but if you could confirm.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on that.
Rebecca, I'm not sure if you could confirm for us if they were sent to DEP.
No, I did not do that, but I can do that tomorrow.
Okay, great, thank you. I'll start off with one of the items that we discussed last time, like I said, is standard 5 in the project's applicability to the Luppel. We had stated that, and I think it caused some confusion, that while vehicle trips, generally speaking, to the project site overall exceed 1,000 trips, which is what some might think the threshold is for the LUFL, the high intensity use for vehicle loading. I just want to read a little bit from the regulations and kind of reconfirm our position that we don't think it's applicable. And I hope that it brings some clarity to this issue. It is highly technical, and so we have to get it right. And I apologize if we have previously caused some confusion. You asked for the traffic report and looked at in a vacuum. Maybe one would draw a conclusion that 1,000 trips, therefore it's required. But let me read from the regulations a bit, and hopefully this provides some clarity. So it was discussed whether the proposed site is a higher pollutant load land use and how this applies to the stormwater management design. The notice of intent report originally filed noted that the Mass Stormwater Standard 5 is not applicable because the project does not have any land uses with higher potential loads of the site. Per the Massachusetts Stormwater Standards, Volume 1, Chapter 1, land uses with higher potential pollutant loads include parking lots with high intensity uses, 1,000 vehicle trips per day or more, shopping centers, malls, and large office parks. So I'm going to stop right there. Our project does not include parking that will generate over 1,000 trips per day. We have a proposed parking program of 274 spaces, and they do not turn over more than 4 times in a typical day. It also notes in the regulations that the treatment requirement only applies to stormwater discharges that come in contact with the actual area. But again, since we don't feel this is applicable to our project site, we are not required to meet some enhanced stormwater management treatment. That said, we were asked to consider how much our designed BMPs actually lend to some enhanced treatment, right? And so a lot of our BMPs, we provided calculations that they were sized to minimally treat the 1/2-inch water quality volume. But many of the BMPs are standard sizes. And so we did some calculations, and that a weighted average across the site, we provide 0.75 inches in the post-development condition. So I just want to stop there. Are there any questions about the regulations or what we have calculated? And we will be submitting this formally, but again, this is just an opportunity for us to get on the same page and get you the information that will clarify these issues.
Could you just repeat where you read that information, what page it was?
I don't have the page, but it's in Volume 1, Chapter 1, where it talks about in detail each of the stormwater management standards.
And Erin, just going back to the first point with the number of the traffic. I guess the confusion that we've had historically is the number of trips. Is it per lot location or per project. You know, how to interpret that?
We are providing, oh no, I don't know my parking program, but it is still below the threshold of the parking generating over 1,000 trips per day on a typical day.
So that's including the
The upper
entire,
lot.
entire all parking on the property.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The vehicle trips though are tied to parking. They're not tied to, it's not tied to usage. It's just
parking. Yep.
Right. Only parking. Right.
Parking.
But a trip is in and out.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay.
And how does that work if you have like adjacent, if you had two adjacent properties that, you know, that have two parking lots right next to each other, and one has 500 trips a day and the other has 500 trips a day, even though if it were owned by one owner, that would hit the limit. Does it not hit the limit because it happens to be two different owners? Is it just
probably not? Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Well, in the case of like the Woodville in the high school, it's still town of Wakefield. But they wouldn't be including Woodville trips in this count.
That's not part of our
It's different property.
But my point is that if they're more or less adjacent parking lots, Mother Nature doesn't care whether, you know, who owns the parking lot. That's all I'm getting. And so it seems to me that all I'm just doing is asking whether we have the Woodville, we have the vocational school, and we have the high school all sort of bunched together with, you know, a little bit of room in between them. I just wanted to understand the implication of that. That's all.
Sure. To be clear, we are not connected in any way to Metrotech on this point.
But the Woodville, yes, correct? They both.
They have a modest parking area. It's an elementary school. There are no drivers at that school. We can take a look at it as like a super what if, but again, the Woodville is not part of our project. It's outside of the limits of our work, but I can make a note. We can discuss that in our final draft of these.
Yeah, what were those trips there? Because you still have drop off, pickup, and of course,
but
you know,
it's about parking. It's not about drop off.
Right. Yeah. She just said it's tied to parking. It's not. It's not. Even though it seems counterintuitive to say it's not like the number of vehicle trips.
You'd only have the number of teachers or other professionals that work at that school that would count.
Yeah, that are parked there.
Or buses.
My understanding is that the pollutant load happens when you park and you turn off a car and the engine cools, and that's when the drips fall. And then the person, say at a shopping mall, gets back in their car, drives away, and someone pulls in right next to them, right in the same space, and it happens again and again. That's where you have that high turnover of the parking. And that was examples from the regulations. It says projects like high intensity use parking lots, large offices, shopping malls and whatnot.
So dropping a kid off at the front door, and then when the car's not turned off doesn't count. Then that just okay. That's fine.
Well, you know, it's interesting. This is totally off topic, but all new cars have a feature that if you're stopped, it shuts off.
It's so annoying, but they do.
But that flies in the face of that, right? Because it shouldn't shut off, because when it's shut off,
yeah.
And maybe the theory is it's shut off for just a few minutes, or a couple of minutes, so therefore not much drops down when it's shut off.
I think turning off conserves fossil fuels use, right? Yes, but might have kind of negative impacts with easy every day.
It's funny that times have changed a little bit, but when I was in high school, if you wanted to find a field of cars that are leaking oil and other things, just go to a high school parking lot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak to the quality of the vehicles at Wakefield, but we did a deep dive to the regulations. We want to be sure that you understand and that we're providing a clear response about how we've designed our stormwater management.
Rebecca, I just want to know if you're okay with that interpretation.
I think so. I have to think about it. It's interesting because, you know, the traffic report says 1,200 daily trips, and that's all we get, and that's all how now we're all splitting hairs and trying to dissect what exactly that means and how it's split apart.
What did the traffic report? Your point is, what is the definition of a daily trip that they use to get to? What is it? What was the number, Rebecca?
So it says, yeah, the high pollutant load is 1,000 daily trips, and then the traffic report says new high school will generate, I don't have it in front of me, but generate 1,200 daily trips.
Okay, so we
There's
just
not a
want
lot of guidance as to what exactly does that mean and how you're gonna parse it apart, or
but they know when they did the traffic report, what they did a daily trip. I mean, they had their criteria because they came up with a number.
But what they're saying though is that the standards have to do with parking, not with vehicle trips.
It's
Yeah,
vehicle trips to parking lots.
This is talking about
Right.
high
That's right.
intensity
Vehicle trips
use
to parking lots, right?
Well, that's fine. I just was curious whether so my point would be if it's clear that they counted, parents dropping off their kids as a
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
1,200.
You,
So they must have, because your point is they must, because there's only X number of spaces and they're not cycled over multiple times a day. All right.
yeah.
That actually sounds right to me,
Yeah, it should be clearer, I would have liked it to have been clearer because we're not traffic experts. So the document that we get submitted is a traffic report, right?
Yeah.
So in the traffic report, who these people are the experts, that I just look for something that says daily trips and that's the number I'm going to use just because that's what I have and I'm not an
Sure.
expert. So it's unfortunate that there isn't a little bit more clarity, and maybe when they change the regs pretty soon, that they'll offer more clarity on what exactly we should be looking at and how for us to find that information. I understand what you're saying. Again, it's just I'm not skilled enough in parking and daily trips and traffic reports to dissect it and to try to, and I wish we didn't have to. So I understand what you're saying.
but you're gonna send us this in writing anyway with the reference to the
Yes,
to the regulation, Aaron.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's right.
The regulations talk about parking lots with high intensity uses per N, 1,000 vehicle trips per day or more. And then further along in the paragraph below, they talk about the fact that runoff from other portions of the project to site that does not come into contact with these specific areas or does not mix with runoff from these areas does not require structural BMPs suitable for treating runoff from land uses with higher potential pollutant loads. For example, on the site of a chemical manufacturing plant, runoff from any grassed open space or parking area without high intensity use, which is separate from the chemical distribution, loading, and storage area, doesn't have to be treated with a BMP. So seems like we're in that situation here.
Yeah,
So
Paul,
parking lots, but not driveways.
Right.
Like drive-through
Talking
driveways.
about parking
drop
lots
off.
with 1,000 vehicle trips a day.
was
Right,
that Paul,
so-
was that used as an example, or as it only applies to parking lots? Can you just read it? Where does it? Can you just read the sentence where the word parking lot is used?
Parking lot, okay. The land uses with higher potential pollutant loads, including exterior fleet storage areas, blah, blah, blah. Parking lots with high intensity uses per N 1,000 vehicle trips per day or more. These are areas which are deemed land uses with higher potential pollutant loads and therefore are subject to.
But it says including, but not limited to. That's all I was getting at. Really was I just wanted to understand that it referenced two things, including two things. One is parking lots, and the other is storage areas, right? Is that right when you got to parking lots? You said areas with high intensive uses, which was a generalized term. Then it said, comma, including, but it doesn't say but limited to, like such as loading areas or park. I'm just trying to understand whether this was really aimed at parking lots.
Well, the text of the text of this stormwater handbook says, in addition, land uses with higher potential pollutant loads include : exterior fleet storage areas, a couple others, and parking lots with high intensity uses.
So it's meant to be maybe an all-inclusive list.
So would a driveway with a drop off and pickup be included?
Not mentioned.
it would not be.
It's not excluded, but it's not included. That's a question for our legal team here on the commission.
So include is a horrible word, because include could, it should say means. It shouldn't say include, it should say means.
Yeah.
I hate when
Well, the
Including,
the
do you say
handbook
including but not
does,
limited to? People get up, people think that's legalese, but actually that would clarify this if it said that or not.
well, but the handbook also does say runoff from other portions of the project site that does not come in contact with these specific areas or activities or does not mix with runoff from these areas or activities does not require the structural BMPs.
But the question is, what do these activities mean? That's all, Paul.
Well, there's a specific list of activities in
We
the.
get back to, right, we get back to the word include.
Well,
So
land uses with higher potential pollutant loads include the industrial sectors regulated by NIPD's multi-sector general permit program. These include manufacturing, blah, blah, blah.
so it doesn't mean exclusively those, correct?
No.
Right, this includes that, right?
Yeah, so it
Right,
could be a driveway with a drop off and pickup.
Could
It's not a
be,
parking area.
but it's not described here in any way. So we're going to need somebody to take a more careful look at that if it's not something we can accept.
I will mention that outlined in our notice of intent under standard 5, the original submission also talked about the flexible site design that we've implemented. We have 3 different drop-off places, 4 different drop-off places. We have 2 curb cuts that allow vehicles to come in and out. It's meant to be flexible to serve this administration and future administrations. So these 1,200 trips will never occur at the same drop-off place because there's one on the north side of the track, there's one next to Woodville, there's one right at the front of the school, and then there's another bus dedicated one at the school.
But is that the important issue? Don't we care about total? I mean, the fact that it's in more than one location is I guess that's not the point. For traffic reasons, that's not the point. What you're saying is for stormwater reasons, that is the point?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Our
So-
interpretation is that we're only
Yeah.
required to apply enhanced treatment for those areas subject to those loads. So even if, and I'm not in any way saying that our drop-off areas will experience all 1,200 trips every single day, but even if they did, that is the only place. But I don't think they will because we have 4 different places where parents, buses, Woodville can safely pull over during arrival and dismissal.
Right.
So I don't think that will ever happen either. And is it a even split? Probably not. But it's something less than 1,000 trips at each location.
Did you say that you came up with 700 something vehicle trips?
I don't think I said that.
Did you say that at the beginning? No? Okay.
No.
So you
Well-
agree with the 1,200 vehicle trips that the traffic studies called for? You think that's correct?
Yes, that's how the roundabout has been designed. That's what we've been coordinating. That is a front that we have been coordinating with MetroTech is all of the traffic trips once their driveway fully moves. And so we have been, yes, those are conservative numbers that we've designed around. So I was hoping this would bring clarity. It doesn't seem like it has, but again,
We're on the word, we're stuck on the word include. That's right. No, it's not
Yeah.
really.
Well, I guess it's a couple things, right? It's, if you're separating out the individual areas, that's one thing, but if you're putting them all together, that's a different situation. And I guess we're not totally clear which way is the right way to look at that.
I'd love to know how what the composition of the 1,200 is on the traffic report. How they arrived at that number.
I guess
you have the traffic report that shows all of that. I don't know how to help you with that.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. when you do
Yeah.
a traffic report, who does,
Yeah.
who, I just didn't know whether we could figure that.
You could find out the answer by looking at the traffic report, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how are we going to move
go ahead.
forward? Because I am
Yes.
interested in moving forward and making sure this project isn't delayed. And so how can we close this issue?
Aaron, are you proposing that there be no treatment then of the runoff coming from the parking areas?
No, not at all.
Okay,
We've designed that a minimum of 1/2 inch water quality volume everywhere on the site.
okay,
But like I mentioned, when we started this discussion, that we kind of back calculated the actual values that our somewhat typical size BMPs are providing, and it's around 3/4 of an inch.
okay.
All right, let's
Um,
let's just let's move on to your next topics.
Okay. I'm going to hand over to Peter. He's going to talk a little bit about, I believe Teresa specifically asked for a breakdown of impervious area pre to post in the buffer zone. This one's actually tricky because we have a response prepared as of a few days ago, but I think that there needs to be some further discussions with the town engineer. And that number might increase. So we might be at odds with kind of good design practices and being a redevelopment and implementing some things. But in any event, this is what we've prepared. We were asked for a breakdown of where the impervious area is, how much of it pre to post. So I think Peter has a diagram he's going to share.
Erin,
Yeah, I have a table.
when you, I know you said that you're going to continue conversations with Bill. Can you copy me on that, please?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
And so, Rebecca, we're hoping actually to come up and visit Bill and talk about the comments. And I don't know if you can, but certainly if you are allowed to come, I would welcome anyone's feedback, or if you want to listen to the dialogue also. That's
Depends on what day of the week it is.
okay.
So just let me know. That'd be great.
Okay.
I'd love to see them. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
Can you guys all see the table?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
thank you.
So as Aaron mentioned, we did a study as requested about the actual square footage, because we know the site is decreasing impervious by an acre, but of within the 100-foot and the 25-foot buffer zone. So that's what you see in front of you. Wetland A, if you remember, is the wetland to the far north of the site, and wetland B is the one closer to the Metro Tech school. So we are increasing the impervious within the 100-foot buffer zone. However, we are pulling the impervious away. So we're actually decreasing it within the 25-foot buffer zone.
As of now.
Correct, as of now. But again, this was all, we're viewing this site as how we're drastically improving the stormwater system and the amount of impervious on the site as a great benefit as the site discharges directly into a wetland. So we're looking at it more holistically, even though obviously your jurisdiction is the buffer zone.
Right. And what is I'm sorry, the number you had given us before, which is the total decrease in impervious surface is how much?
The whole site is being decreased by about an acre.
Okay, thanks.
So I know this isn't square footage, but I think we're increasing it by 0.13 and the 25 foot's being decreased by less than a 10th.
Yeah, I see.
But at one point we were asked if all of the pervious pavement that we're proposing is changed to impervious. Where do we stand on that delta? And we are still reducing impervious cover. Not by nearly as much, but we're still under existing conditions. Any questions on this item?
No,
Great.
no, thank you.
Great. Okay, Megan's going to talk a little bit more about lighting. So this is not, we don't see this as another one that may not be as easy to digest. We worked with our electrical engineer to provide some clarity on the lighting that's proposed as part of the project. Certainly around the back of the school where we are within the buffer zone.
And we had provided the calculations that show that we're in only one place exceeding 0.1 candle foot in the wetland over by the upper parking lot, and that everywhere else there is no light bleed into the wetland. But there was a question about the wavelengths of the light, and this I tried to get it as not technical as possible, but it's a really technical thing because the way that LEDs have sort of changed illumination has changed the way that we talk about illumination as well. And so what he has communicated to me is that commercial LED sources that are used for illumination do not have a monochromatic wavelength, such as holding 590 nanometers, and that they emit light in many wavelengths, and that the things that they do talk about are the spectral power distribution, which is they abbreviate as SPD, and that is the amount of power emitted by the light source at various wavelengths, and those wavelengths, as you know, are measured in nanometers. And with LEDs, there is not an ability to specify sources based on SPD. However, commercial LED light sources are characterized by correlated color temperature, which is the color appearance in degrees Kelvin that we have talked about before, and you guys are very familiar with. That warmer light is the 3000 K, and cooler light is 4000 and above. And that because LED sources are now controlled by fixture manufacturers, not lamp companies, we're only able to design to the CCT, and that we have designed the site to have the 3000 Kelvin CCT, which is that warmer, closer to 590 nanometers in the yellow light range. But there's not a way to hold that 590, that it's spectral, and that it'll adjust. And so that's why with the fixtures we were talking about, we've included directional light so that we can have cutoffs that really limit where light is going. And we changed the fixtures from the original 4000 that was included in the NOI to the 3000 that we are using now.
All right, that's very informative. And really, I think that's what we're after, keeping in that 3000 degree Kelvin range and minimal light spill. So I think those are well explained and a good response.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Super. Peter's up again to hopefully.
Yeah, the next topic was snow storage. We talked about that last time, and we had gotten a request to update the plan that we had shown to meet the DEP regulations and clarify where chemicals and salts were able to be used. So can everyone see this figure?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a similar map to what we showed last time. The new thing here is these red areas, the darker red, I should say, which represent where, for now, the pervious pavements are proposed. And we just wanted to clarify that no sand, salt, or de-icing chemicals are going to be used on those. And I know there was some concern about the adjacency of this roadway to Wetland B. So it is, and we've met with Tim O'Brien and we've discussed this, and no salt, sand, or de-icing chemicals will be used there, or there's pervious pavers as well back here. And the other thing we did was we removed all the the potential snow stockpile areas outside of 50 feet from the wetlands, which is a DEP regulation. And then the final point is that this diagram, we talked to Tim O'Brien, and we're going to provide this diagram once it's approved as part of the NOI to the school, and he's going to keep it in the school building and distribute it to his staff as well as the town staff that do snow removal at the site.
And what's that light blue highlight? What's that representing?
The light blue is just potential stockpile areas for snow. So we review it against vegetation and other site features. And it's not saying they will stockpile it in all these locations, but it's just saying these are areas that from a site perspective, we'd be okay if there was a stockpile there.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Can I just ask a quick question? So you're saying there'll be no sand, salt, or de-icing in any of the areas that are shown as red?
There is not supposed to be. The way the pervious pavements work, and we discussed this a little bit last time, they don't react to snow and ice like a typical pavement does because the water goes through them. It doesn't sit on the surface. So there's no melting and refreezing. So any snow melt just circulates right through the pavement or the paver. So, and also it's a maintenance issue because if you use salt or ice or anything that can get clogged, it can actually mess with the performance of the pavement. So not only is it, we're saying don't do it because it'll mess with the performance of them, not just because they're adjacent to the wetlands. So it's actually within the O&M that we submitted as well, right in there, how to treat the porous pavements. It says no salt, sand, or de-icing.
So snow removal from those areas will only be by plowing then?
Yeah, mechanical means, brooming, things like that.
Plowing,
Yep.
shoveling, or snow throwers.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
What about, and I apologize, I don't remember, what about the area to the bottom left of the building that isn't shown as red? It's got a few pockets of blue in it. Yep. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, this
Not
area
mine.
actually I believe is also porous pavers, so that should also have a red hatch on it.
Okay.
There is some concrete down here,
Mhm.
but it's all not within the 50 feet.
Okay. And I assume that, and I know that you guys didn't have time to talk to Bill and go over everything, but I assume that one of the conversations is going to be the porous pavement within the 100 feet, right? Yeah, I know you guys aren't prepared to do that tonight.
Yeah, that was a D, or sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
We're all going to say the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, more discussion to come. Any other questions?
No, thank
I have
you.
I have a note to revise this diagram, so in the submission to you, you'll see that area, Rebecca, that you pointed out in red. So that will be updated.
All right, anything else, Erin?
I do have one. I'm not sure what the appetite is for the group to understand how the culvert will be constructed in phases. But we have prepared some diagrams that kind of groups work together. And essentially it shows that although we'll have bypass pumping, there will never be discharged to an area at grade up gradient of a wetland. It's all going to be bypassed to a different place downstream in a pipe or the culvert. So I think that's probably something that was misunderstood the first go around. And so I hope that the diagrams we've prepared kind of visually show that, that we have, temporary drainage to install initially. We've been working with Bond, fortunate to have them on board now, and we can really work together to understand how this will be phased, when things will be required. And so, Peter, do you have those teed up? Unless yep, we should go through them if there's any questions.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
let's definitely take a look at that because that was something that came up.
So this is existing conditions to remind folks how water flows through pipes and culverts today. Kind of the main blue line is the main culvert. We have one coming across perpendicular the track, discharging wetland B to the main culvert. And then we also have this 30-inch RCP discharging independently to the existing end wall at wetland A. There's various, and if you zoom in, you can see various on-site drainage patterns. We've looked at that too, so that we understand any sort of temporary piping and any sort of temporary means that we need to consider, so that it's all designed accordingly. We go to the next phase. So this includes if you want to start on Hemlock, which is on the left side, it starts with some relocation of existing drains, essentially trying to clear Hemlock Road of drainage. And so we are proposing alternative piped drainage so that this area will be free. It's a difficult spot to work in because there's not much room for the existing culvert and the proposed culvert to exist at the same time. So this initial phase will include piping to kind of free ourselves of the area that we'll need to build the culvert. The new culvert you can see is highlighted in orange. So bond will start at the north end and work their way south. Nothing is flowing in there. So it's just going to be a box in the ground or 2 boxes in the ground. There's a roof drain that we're picking up, bypass as needed. This work is going to occur over an intense period over the summer. And so it's not a bad time of year to do this based on typical rainfall, although you never know what you're going to get. We're also starting to build the permanent culvert, the permanent piping discharge from wetland B looping around where the building will go. And so there'll be some bypass pumping to make sure that we maintain discharge from wetland B at all times while we build that final connection, that permanent drainage there that you see kind of swooping around. The next plan shows we're starting to work at the end wall and installing the larger section of the culvert. We're relocating the 30-inch to connect to this transition structure where we're going from 2 4x4s to 2 4x5s. We have reviewed all this with the town. I should have started so they're aware of these configurations and this piping, and our revised HydroCAD will show all of these things. But essentially we'll have still discharge through the old culvert in that blue color. If you flip to the next one. So now is where we start to have discharge from both the new and the old. So staying back to the softball field, we'll bypass as needed to make that final connection to the new culvert. So the bypass is represented in this red dot. And then on the Hemlock Road side, we start to consider what it's going to take to relocate and bypass discharge from the baseball fields heading north. We're going to build a structure that will help us kind of maintain flow, but free this orange piece. So we'll have, again, utilizing this earlier drainage that we've installed, kind of running slanted down the page. Just making sure that we're always providing positive drainage and showing how the culvert will be phased in a logical sequence. Again,
Erin, where is the current roof runoff going?
It all gets to the culvert at some point. The whole site gets to the culvert or flows overland to the wetlands.
Okay.
And then I think we just have one final condition where it shows how the new culvert is in use. It shows the final drainage connections. And then at this point, our construction manager will start on the building. And that will be the focus then once the culvert is relocated out of the way of the building footprint. Are there any questions? Did I go too quick? Is there information that you wanted to see that we don't have on these diagrams?
What is the total timeline for what you just showed us proposed?
That's a good question. Overall, I think that the schedule will probably take 8 or 10 weeks. But we can add some a narrative about kind of anticipated overall duration of this culvert piece. It is very critical. It's the first thing that needs to go in, and so they have definitely spent a lot of time thinking about how long it will take and then when they can start on foundation subgrade prep.
So the intention would be to get it done pretty much throughout the summer.
Yes, yes. Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
Any other questions?
At the bottom of the page, underneath the football field there, so that piping is within the buffer. How are they physically doing this? Are they digging down and laying in? Is that what's happening there?
We're raising the grade of the building, so it's actually not a very deep excavation, although this existing discharge from the head wall is quite deep. And so they'll be using trench boxes to limit disturbances. They don't need to excavate more than they have to. It's going to be I think it's a 30-inch reinforced concrete pipe. Again, that's represented in our HydroCAD analysis. That is the plan for that.
Did you look at any possible way to infiltrate any of the roof runoff for the new school?
So there's a couple of there's many constraints on this project site, generally speaking. But then but the phased nature of this project, where we have to keep an existing school occupied, and we can't get to that western side of the site until many months after the new building is completed and the school operations shift to the new building. Even if we weren't on a phased project, it is extremely difficult to cross the culvert to get to where we have better soils and recharge roof runoff. It's nearly impossible. The culvert is massive. We can't go under it because it's far too deep. We'll get into groundwater issues heading west up the page. It's just not an efficient way to recharge roof at all on this project.
Is there any option or possibility to go under the proposed field?
We are providing lots of recharge on that second phase where we have the new field and the new parking. We have kind of redundant infiltration systems proposed as part of the field. Again, that's where the better soils are, and according to the town's requirements, you must recharge where you have the better soils. So that's part of what plays into our strategy of where we've provided recharge and then where we're using porous pavement to potentially offset any and mitigate any impacts on the eastern side of the site.
Okay.
But I'm certainly open to talking to, say, Bill and looking at where we have opportunities. They will not be large, and so there's also, economics to consider. There'll be very small areas which will likely not do much to offset any sort of volume or rate in any even insignificant storm. We're just that tight when you consider offsets from the building foundation, offsets to wetlands, where groundwater is. There's just not a whole lot of opportunity on this east side of the site near the building when we can build it in the first phase.
Yeah. In the parking lot, any proposed parking areas, is that possible to infiltrate underneath there, or?
So we are sending some parking adjacent.
Do you want me to pull up a drainage plan?
That would be great,
Yeah,
actually.
please. Yeah.
Yep. So we do propose 2 infiltration systems in the northern parking lot. One of them essentially takes discharge from the field, further mitigates that and recharges it. We also have a second system that takes runoff from the parking lot and will provide recharge for parking area kind of up that way. We don't have recharge proposed at the upper lot because we're building a retaining wall. All of that water will just get caught in the footing drain and not get to groundwater anyway. So again, we could do it, but about the economics and getting some value for stormwater management systems. So you can see 2 main systems kind of north of the track. 1 and 2.
Right.
There's actually a smaller one, kind of like a perf pipe and trench. Again, we're trying to do all that we can on this western part of the site So that is a change from our original submission. Again, just trying to give any opportunity we can to runoff from that better side of the soils, opportunities to recharge. So that's our strategy on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Anything
Any
else
other-
you want to cover?
No, not tonight. We're not prepared to even discuss the DEP comments because it seems Bill may have taken a shot at responding to them. Our experience is that the applicant responds to the DEP comments and sends them to the commission. And so is that what you expect also, or would you
Yeah.
expect that Bill will take those on himself?
No, we would expect that you would respond.
Okay. Okay. So there's some inconsistencies we have to work through about where we're proposing impervious areas and, some things like that. So we will revise everything accordingly. The goal is to have everything to you, responses to hearing 2 that we reviewed with you all, responses to DEP and responses to Bill. We'll have revised any and everything that requires in a timely way so that you can review it ahead of time and we can discuss. And that's the goal.
Aaron, is the new field depressed in the ground? Am I reading that right on those plans? Does it actually sit lower than the sidewalks?
It is a few feet lower. It varies. At one point, it's at the curb cut at Farm Street by Woodville. It's at a we have a retaining wall. Actually, it's about 3 or 4 feet, kind of below the walkway there.
What was the reason for that? They must have had a reason to do that.
If we put the field at grade with the walkway, the high school would have been in a hole. So we're using the field as a transition to get up to Farm Street. And that's not good design practice. That's not something that we were kind of looking to do. That would have created a 6-foot grade change between the field and the first floor of the building in a very short distance.
Okay.
And how to provide accessible access to that field, mitigate aesthetic impacts, it would have been a significant challenge.
Okay.
Great question.
Any other questions from the commission tonight?
I have a quick question. Sorry. So I think on the plan that the NOI plan, and I think unfortunately Jimmy has my copy of it, but where the drainage comes down from Hemlock Road and then it comes down from what will be the Rotary, and I think it joins up in the culvert. It's going to go into the culvert, and I think Bill told me there's going to be a water quality sort of inlet there, hydrodynamic separator maybe. I can't see it on my NOI plan. I think there's literally like some language that's over it, so I didn't know that was there. I know that sounds really, really insignificant, but just to take a peek at that, just in this, maybe we could just move something over because hopefully you can see it when you go on there. I couldn't spot it. So maybe it's just hidden under some language or something, or maybe I just missed it, which very well could be true too. But I think when I mentioned it to Bill, he said on his like civil drawings it was there, but on the NOI drawing it wasn't there. Or just you couldn't see it because of the language. There was some text over it. Pretty
Gladly
small.
take care of that. Yep.
But yeah, great. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else, Rebecca?
No, I think there's probably going to be a fair amount of things to look at prior to the next meeting is what I'm anticipating. Yeah, just definitely keep me in the loop in your conversations with Bill. And yeah, I guess that's it.
So we did not get clarity on the level. Is that something that you're going to rely on Bill Renault, or is that something that you're going to provide in writing for the design team to consider? That was one thing we started with and we didn't get back to that yet.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I think that the commission will have to make that decision on what they think, what they're going to decide on their interpretation. So they should they should get that to you guys through me.
Okay, all right. So I know who to bug then. Okay, good, thank you.
Anything else, Rebecca, or from the commission? I think we're moving in the right direction. It seems like our biggest concerns or questions are going to be around stormwater. After we have a chance to see, your comments and Bill's, where that all goes. Yeah, so I think that's kind of where we're at.
Great.
Is there any questions from the public? All right, I don't see any hands raised. All right, anything else, Erin?
No, so we're gonna continue to, the next meeting, I think, is the 21st.
Yes, that's correct. Tuesday
Okay.
the 21st.
And then, Rebecca, can you remind the team again when you typically like to receive materials beforehand so that we can?
Usually the
discuss them
Thursday
at-
before the Tuesday meeting.
Okay, great.
Just because I don't usually work on Fridays. And
problem.
I send it over. But I mean, if you let me know if you're like, we just can't get it Thursday evening, but we can do it Friday, just let me know and I will check my email and forward it along. It's no big deal. But it's
Okay.
just so I can have it for the weekend.
Yes, okay, will do. Thank you so much.
All right, I think that's it then, Erin, for tonight, for you.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Good night. All right, we still have some other business to cover. We have 7A Traverse Street. We have
That I got rid of that. I had put that on there when I received it and put the agenda out. Elaine has since looked at it and said it was non-jurisdictional.
Okay. And
So-
then we also have the notification of utility maintenance activities within a buffer zone, New England Power Company.
Yep. So we got that letter. I don't know if you guys want to read through the letter. It's just letting you know that they're planning on doing some maintenance work under the regulations because they're not really changing anything. They can do this work without filing a notice of intent because it's for a public utility. They're not increasing the size. I think they're just literally going in to do some maintenance work. Some of it is actually within a resource area. The only thing I was going to suggest, but why don't you guys read through that letter if you haven't read it, but
Where are they doing this work? I didn't see the email yet on this one.
so if you go down the power lines that are adjacent to like Breakheart, starting from Water Street down to
Yep.
Farms, I think there's 4 locations in there that they're going to be doing some work. One of which right at Water Street. I think they're right. It's either right in the Saugus River or it's right in one of the resource areas. If you read the letter, they're going to do the construction the mats that they put down for the construction vehicles and whatnot, and they'll restore anything they need to. Like I said, I think really what I would suggest is being notified of when they're actually out there doing the work. Take a before picture, take a after picture, and then be notified when they're done. And as long as we can go out there and take a quick peek, and I'm assuming we'll be satisfied with everything. I think it should be all set. That would be my suggestion, just requesting that they do that. It's up to you guys.
When
The
did
only
you
thing-
send that one out? I'm looking for that email.
You know what? It's in the email from today. It's a scan.
Oh,
So I think it's the second scan in the email.
Yeah.
oh, got it. National Grid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is there every whatever 5 years or whatever they do every 2
Maintenance or-
years.
So, I will also, as you guys are looking through that, and mention that, we're talking to Elaine and there's been some increased flooding, it would seem, on some of the, properties on Water Street, right in that vicinity, and so I talked to Bill and we're gonna try to, fly a drone out there to see where the mill and the Saugus join at Water. We're gonna probably go downstream a little bit to see if there's anything blocking, whether it be a beaver dam or what, or it could be anything. So just interesting that I think we're gonna do that next week, get some pictures just to see if there's any problems out there because it's inaccessible.
We had a lot of rain events this past summer, fall, whatever.
Yeah, I think it was Fast and Furious. I think it was like a overnight change or something happened quick enough where it didn't seem like just a higher either flood levels or high groundwater. It seemed like, it was raining, everything was fine, and all of a sudden one day it just really backed up pretty far on this property, and I think there's not much of a slope to it, so there's concern that it could reach the house if there's another big event. So we're just going to do a quick check to make sure that there's nothing downstream causing any blockages. I should have that information next week. The town does have a drone, so I've asked the guy who operates the drone. I told him the location. He might do some of it tomorrow, but it most likely it'd probably be next week. Just happens to be in the same vicinity of where they're proposing to do this maintenance work, which is why I bring it up. We may actually have some pictures of the before, in which case we wouldn't really need anything. I've just we can take a peek, but I think where they're proposing to do the work is challenging to access. So that's why I just thought if they could snap us a few pictures before and after, we can tuck them in the file and be satisfied with that.
Yeah, the mill and Saugus join up right behind like Millbrook Estates, pretty much. Right? Something joins up back there. The Mill River runs behind.
Right at Waters.
You're talking about by the Water Street Bridge all the way by Saugus, so Saugus.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
you
Okay.
just got Wakefield.
Oh, at near Tucci's property. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. On the
Way
other
down,
side.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's after the confluence. I think there may be, I mean, maybe not. Maybe there's a bottleneck. Maybe there's a large volume of water, but we're just going to check it out.
Yeah. Have we had reports from people on Wiley Street with
I haven't had
unusual-
anybody. No, I haven't had anyone on Wiley Street. It's just been some homes on Water Street.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wiley usually gets it first.
Maybe it hasn't gone up that far because they're up the mill.
Yeah.
So maybe if it's downstream on the Saugus, that would be yeah. I got.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'll let you guys know.
Okay. So separately, are we going to discuss the DEP letter? I mean, what?
Oh, we gotta decide whether you want to appeal the decision or.
No, but are we?
Yeah.
I thought that would be something was going to be the very first thing we discussed tonight. We got this letter, and we have a very short time frame to appeal, and then we had of course, the other emails from the other interested parties.
Now, it's not on the agenda though, so public was not notified of any discussion that we may be having on this.
So that means we can't discuss it now, or?
Why can't we discuss it? We have to make a decision
By the 16th.
by the 16th, yeah.
Yeah, which is next week.
So I don't think you have to come up with supporting evidence and all kinds.
Yeah, did you see my email, what we have to show?
No, I didn't see
Is
your
anyone,
email.
are the interested parties talking about doing an appeal?
Well, yeah, Chris, I talked to Chris and I talked to Bob at one time. They're ready to go if you want to do an appeal. Like they would
Well,
be.
they can appeal
That
it.
has to come from us though, doesn't it?
Were they looking for?
They were party down. They can appeal.
Were they looking for financial support from us? I just didn't know.
No one mentioned anything like that to me.
Okay.
I think Chris just said they were anxious to know what we were gonna do. So I said we'd have to discuss it at our next meeting to see what.
So again, did you see my email with what we have to show?
I didn't see it, Teresa. I didn't look. Did you send it tonight or was it?
No, I
not.
sent it yesterday when we got the.
There was such a
There's been so many emails and responses to emails and.
What, you didn't pay more attention to my email? I swear to God. I swear to God.
I saw you had you said something highlighted. I read your little highlighted thing.
What? That's
If I saw your name, I would have been there in an instant.
I saw the little excerpt that you highlighted.
Right, that was the point. That was my point.
I think we just have to poll everyone and see if you want to go for a,
First of all, we have no money to, how can we file an appeal with what money?
well, I'll just tell you that I don't think it's worth appealing.
Okay, I kind of agree with you, but maybe just pull that email. Hold on.
Yeah, please, no.
What happens is there'll be responses to
I didn't
emails
actually
and
like
you lose.
I didn't actually like what.
Okay, you say this is your clear and concise statement of the alleged
Yes,
contained?
exactly.
Each alleged error is inconsistent and does not contribute to the protection of interest.
Can you pull that up, Bob? Do you have that? Well,
Yeah,
do you have it, Paul?
I do.
I've got so many emails
Here,
here.
I'll do the
Okay,
screen share.
I got it at
Paul,
11.
do it.
I got it at you
I'm
circulate.
gonna run out of space again on my Gmail. I get so many emails. I dumped everything prior to like this year from Concom.
When you're in Hawaii, didn't you have to get rid of everything?
I did. I lost ability to communicate.
Paul, are you trying to put this on the screen?
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's right there. This is what Teresa sent us Tuesday.
I haven't even looked at the department's decision.
It basically says it meets all the stormwater standards.
Well, yeah, that's what they wrote. That's their determination,
But this is one of the things we have to file with the appeal.
Yeah, the clear and concise statement of alleged errors in the decision and how each alleged error. I presume that should be an is rather than in inconsistent.
You read DEP's letter, right?
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
So
where is it?
Huh?
Where is the letter?
It took me 2 emails to find out where it was. Rebecca sent it to us.
Yeah.
Didn't it say something about we did not say how it didn't meet standards?
There was a
Shouldn't it?
typo,
I
Haley.
think there may have been a
knot-
typo.
There was a knot missing. I mean, again.
Yes, exactly.
you
There was a
can- you
knot
can-
missing.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was just a typo. I swear to God.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to have to, even though it pains me to say this, I think I agree with Jim.
Well, I mean, this is a pretty high hurdle right here.
Oh, yeah. There's no way we can do this.
Yeah.
Well, I think the group there was gonna offer their support by probably helping research and write and stuff like that. You're interested.
But they can file their own appeal.
Right, exactly.
I don't understand why they would. That doesn't make any sense, Jim.
Why?
To
They
be
can
fair, in
file-
the last appeal, the big thing that the judge kept harping on was that, well, the Conservation Commission isn't here. They don't seem to care. So why is it such a big deal? So
Well,
it's
we
having
denied
that
it.
backing of that source
that's
of
not
the
ca-
commission.
That's not the case here, Haley. Anyone can appeal it. It doesn't make any difference who appeals it.
We have jobs.
Not
in the
anyone.
area.
I'm sorry. The people who these people can appeal it.
They were asking for an injunction from the judge to stop the construction work.
Right,
which
exactly.
was
Totally
beginning.
different. Exactly.
Yes, I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm just saying that could be a similar situation here.
But it's not though.
Why would it not be? Because
they're
this
not
is
asking for a
appealing.
preliminary injunction. This is just an appeal.
No, but it's an appeal. But wouldn't it mean more coming from the Conservation Commission versus random citizens?
No, because they're entitled to an appeal. Anyone, again, you're saying some people are more. Again, it counts more. Anyone who can, is entitled to an appeal. I mean, I should say anyone. If you're entitled
Yes,
to an appeal,
anyone could, but a judge would put more weight behind the words of a commission.
now first of all, it's not a judge.
I don't really think that makes much sense.
It's an administrative. Well, it's at the DEP, so it's a different forum. Anyway.
So it's like the appeal is it's still within the DEP. It's like an administrative,
Correct.
The
Yeah.
appeal period.
This is essentially appealing staff's decision further up the chain of command, I presume.
Right.
Well, then it'll be an adjudicatory hearing at some point.
Yeah, it is exactly. It's an adjudicated. Yeah, absolutely. No. It's a
Which means
hearing.
we would have to prepare witnesses to be able to
Well,
respond.
well, you have
if
to
we made an
file.
appeal.
Well, let's just take a look at.
Well,
the
can I ask if, going back to Haley's comment, we're sort of saying that it's a futile effort, but I still agree that our position was correct.
Yeah.
And if they wanted certain, but I'll ask you this, if they called us up and said, do you want to, would you join our appeal? We've hired a lawyer, we're preparing an appeal. Would you sign on to it? Would we?
Well, as a commission or as an individual?
No, as a commission. Absolutely.
Can we?
The point that we're
do
saying is that
that?
we're weighing the kind of the likelihood of success against and again against our limited resources. But the question that I have is but I am what Haley said is correct, that if we feel that way, someone said that we would we would provide the resources to do it. Would you join in? Or we say no, we don't have no interest in joining. I would support appealing under those circumstances. I mean, I guess the question that we have is, what we don't seem to be in support of is a clear and concise statement, including references, statutory regulatory provisions. Okay, that's really what I wanted to understand, is there's a difference between the economic and the our resources to be able to successfully prosecute that. I think is driving a lot of this decision, and not our belief that shoot, we got it wrong and they're right. I do not feel that way.
I mean, I'm surprised that they came to this conclusion.
Well, I was kind of disappointed in what Tyler wrote, because the access road he gave said nothing about. And from my point of view, the number of trees that they were going to take down was going to move the canopy cover over to the edge of the BBW, and there was no acknowledgement of that. I wasn't too happy with. I don't think it was a very good review, and for us.
So I guess the question that I have is,
I don't think we need this.
and we have so little time to the issue that we have so little time we literally have a week to provide the basis for appeal. But would it be reasonable to engage in conversation with the people that are sending the emails who are thinking about doing this, and I think we owe it to them to tell them how we feel, I just really feel like to say that we don't want to, we're not interested, you can go ahead and appeal, but we will have nothing to do with your appeal, you're on your own, versus we support the position, we disagree with this position. I do disagree with the position. But I think that Teresa and Jim, you're focusing on the practical reality, but not the theoretical,
I mean, what are we going to gain by it? They go up there and look at it. It's very depressing. I mean, it's everything we were trying to save is, well,
already been demolished.
Well, except only
what's down there.
not the road, though. Nothing for the road yet.
Not for allows
which is
us
our
to,
jurisdiction.
yeah, but that's once it's a field.
You don't think all the blasting is gonna? You don't think that the blasting will kill the vernal pool? It doesn't matter. That's not jurisdictional, and I understand that. But
Well, who knows?
And
They may
don't
have already
think
been
that the tree
operations.
cutting the tree cutting that has already happened, don't think that wasn't strategic in their part to make sure that that got done long before
Yeah,
anything.
that's done, but the point is that's done. If your point
The
is that.
blasting's been going on too.
Haley, have you been down there to look at it?
I sent you guys the drone footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the drone and the overhead, and I've gone up. I went up Castle Rock when they first started to see what had happened.
Is the blasting started or is
It
it?
started last week.
Peter, it got mountains of ledge that all piled up. They have 2 drilling rigs in there. They've got these Euclid dump trucks that I don't know how many yards they carry, but it looks like it's a lot. They're building the roads.
All right.
You get the road already cut in to go up to the
Well,
school.
if your point is that we're wrong, but the damage is done.
Well, not all of it, because
I
again,
want
we
to say
haven't
that
done,
we're wrong. I'm
we
not
haven't
going
done
to
the road yet.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I
saw
I don't know what there is to gain from it at this point. And I don't.
Well,
I
you
don't.
prevent the road from going through the access road.
but I
Well,
support.
again, we'd have to be prepared to meet that standard. Are we prepared to do that?
Well,
If
let
we
me
have-
ask you this. Just what did they say? We're doing this. We're going forward. Would you look at our work? And if you like it, we'd like to add you as an additional
The
party.
answer is we have to look at it. Yeah, sure, of course.
That's right. Okay. So should we have a communication with them in that regard? I mean, because this just goes to what Haley said. If at least we can and say that we believe that appeal is
Of value.
of value. I mean, that we because I mean I guess it's like we endorse the appeal.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know. Can't the Conservation Commission do that?
We would be joining. We wouldn't just be endorsing it. We would be.
No, I know. No. I know. I guess I don't.
Okay, well, now you have another question. Is it our decision alone to
Well, I think we have to check with Tom Mullen.
No, we don't have to check with Tom Mullen.
We don't.
Why?
If you had a conversation as a quorum, you'd have to have a public meeting, so that would have to happen.
Before the 16th.
Correct.
Well, it would have to happen when, you know what, it would have to happen after we got their response, so because we can't really vote on it unless we've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that totally, but I guess the question is that would mean, Rebecca, would it be something would you reach out? Could you reach out and have a get an understanding of what they're doing and what and just have a discussion of what we just have so little time. I mean, and it just seems to me that I personally support what they're doing, and if they were to ask us to join the appeal, I would probably vote yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I agree. We have to look at it, but I don't know.
I can't even find the appeal. I mean the denial.
Look at
I'll tell you what.
Rebecca's email from 9:30 yesterday morning. It's entitled SOOCNE the super NEPMT, Bob.
Yeah,
11
I'm looking.
9:30 yesterday morning.
I don't even see it unless it's buried within another email.
It says, yeah, I got it at 10:07. Yes.
10:07.
Yeah, I guess.
10:29.
Are you slipping, Rebecca? Are you slipping information to Teresa? Like,
I honestly don't see it.
you guys are a group, so if I send it to one, it goes to all. I just
Right, exactly.
Don't
Yeah,
you?
no,
I think Bob's
It's in the
telling me-
same email as Teresa's little blurb that was up earlier. It's above that.
Look.
If you just search SOOC, you're going to find that right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't know. What happens is you get a response to a response to a response, and then by the time you go back to the first email,
what's your email address? I'll forward it to you right now.
All right, forward it to me.
Help me, because
Bob dot
Bob,
Dot
got it. Yep,
Romano 22.
yep, you got it. It's coming your way.
Yeah, by the time I see an email, sometimes there's already 5, 6 responses to it.
Okay, good. Well, you know what? I'm glad because I was just completely I meant when I said I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by it. So, but I did read it and okay, did you get it yet, Bob?
No.
So can we just still listen to a couple action items? I think, Rebecca, would you understand the sentiment? I'd like to know what the other guys are doing. Tell them that we have not, you know, that and then just sort of communicate to them what we had just discussed and
Well,
see.
can we schedule, to what Judy said, can we schedule a public hearing to talk, to review and decide, review what they prepare and decide whether or not we want to sign on to it? Because that's what we have to do in order to do it.
All right, I found the original. I finally found it.
Yay.
Yep, I'll write that. When I write the email, Teresa, I'll indicate that that's what you guys are hoping to do. And
But
that
then
it
what about the notice? What kind of notice do you have to give for that public hearing, Rebecca?
48 hours.
How? Say it again?
48 hours.
Oh, okay, we have time then, okay.
So we
if
could,
this has to be.
we could
if this has to
decide,
be-
try to have some conversations tomorrow and Friday or over the weekend and see if that is something, if they're going forward and they say, we would love nothing more than to have you be, sign on as a party to this appeal that we're having, that we're
And
working.
what was I gonna say, and we would have to meet you'd have to tell them that they have to get us what they're gonna submit, but you have to get it to us like by Tuesday or Monday, so we can look at it and meet Monday night or Tuesday night. Right, because the 16th is next Thursday. And we already have a public hearing scheduled on the open space committee meeting on that Wednesday.
Friday is a holiday, so that doesn't count for the posting. That doesn't count in the 48 hours.
What's the holiday?
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day.
Oh, you're saying this Friday. Yep,
Yeah.
you're right.
And I don't know how it would work as a practical matter either. Like, for example, if they've hired an attorney, and we would hire,
They did have an attorney. They have an
Yeah,
attorney.
But by the same token, if we say that we're represented by that attorney, I don't know if we can I don't know whether we have to be, I'm just trying to understand how.
Well, no, but if you look, if the appeal has to be filed by those 10 citizens, so.
Right, okay.
We can file an appeal, the commission can.
Right,
file
but,
an
yes,
appeal. We don't need them.
that is correct, but Jimmy,
But they were saying they would be interested in, you need someone to research information or something like that is what I took them to mean.
Yeah, if they're saying we want you guys to lead the charge, well, we're kind of suggesting that.
yeah. If they could do a clear and concise statement of what they did wrong, that we can sign on to, that'd be great. But they could do it themselves.
I do think to Haley's point earlier, which is, I mean, if there's something clearly wrong, then you would have all parties saying the same thing. So I do think that it is a stronger case to make if you have both parties agreeing on that clear and concise statement.
You mean separately, two different appeals?
No. I'm just saying that having the Conservation Commission and the
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, of
Right,
course.
right,
Yeah, no
right.
question, Rebecca. Yeah, that's not an issue. Of course. So are we clear?
I think so.
So Rebecca, do you know do you have, Teresa, do you know who do we know who is sort of who the key players are in the group?
The attorney?
No, the key,
We have all the emails they sent to Rebecca.
Right,
that
right.
Rebecca forwarded to us.
This
Well,
one's from Christine. There's been Bronwyn. There's been Eleanor.
Yeah, no, those people have not been as vocal.
Bob.
Eleanor's not been vocal at all in emails, but I mean, there've been other more vocal people. But
okay. Well, I just didn't know whether Rebecca, were you just planning on sending an email to the, to
reply to one of their emails and say, are you thinking about having a call with someone and sort of saying, this is what we're thinking? I just don't know how. I'm just wondering, we have so little time to, I just want to make sure that we don't, we
So,
don't.
yep, I can reach out to him via email. I also have the attorney's contact information. I've had some email exchanges with her as well. So I can put her on the email and just said, I'll just summarize what you guys just said, and time is of the essence, and keep us posted. And in the event you have something that we can review and potentially get behind, we're looking to do that, but we'd have to see it first.
And also you have to say, see it and schedule a public hearing.
Yeah, that's right.
So in this denial, it says, in the denial, the Conservation Commission did not specify which of the Mass DEP stormwater standards were not met. Was that the biggest reason why they denied our denial?
I don't think so, because they made modifications to the stormwater management.
No, because they went on to say that they thought it met all of the conditions. So I don't think that was the major reason for their decision.
Huh. Yeah, right. I gotta read this.
Yep.
They had some revisions after.
They said, yeah, very recent revisions, Rebecca, right? Yeah.
Yep. One of which was treating the 1 inch water quality volume. It must have been previously, I don't remember, but it must have previously been the 1/2 inch. And that's one of the things with the LUPL is that if you classify the area as the high pollutant load, you treat the 1 inch water quality as opposed to the 1/2 inch. And I do know that that was one of the things that was changed for the Voc school. So they did tweak that stormwater management.
What exactly does that mean, like the 1/2 inch and the 1 inch?
Well, just providing greater treatment, because you're assuming that they're probably I think there's greater pre-treatment, and then there's a greater volume that you're having go through that treatment train, because you assume that there's more pollutants in that first flush volume.
Oh, okay, I see. So they made changes in September and October.
Yes, very recent changes. Yeah.
To what after the fact?
Yep.
Does
Yeah,
that say-
in response
Bob,
to DEP wrote a letter to them saying, do this.
Yeah, do this and you'll be okay.
Bob, does that say anything about if they were going to use our order, just use our order the way it was written, or are they writing their
No,
own?
they issued a superseding order, Jimmy.
I know it's superseding order, but it's gotta give conditions.
They didn't use any of your
It does.
conditions.
It does.
Yeah, they didn't use any of your conditions, Jim.
Nothing. Yeah, it's all theirs,
They
Jimmy.
didn't use anything?
No.
They wrote their own conditions?
Yes.
Yep.
What did their conditions say?
Look, Jimmy, it's
An
very
environmental
long.
monitor.
Yeah, I'm only up to page 3.
Trying to find it right now.
It's at the
very
back.
long, Jimmy.
I mean, that's the danger of denying is you lose control.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of environmental monitor stuff. The rest, to be honest with you, I thought it was really standard.
Yeah, and long.
Yeah, it is.
It's I didn't see any language in there that I was particularly impressed with. It's, erosion control, environmental monitor. Oh, any changes in the plan, you got to do what it says on the plan, the usual stuff.
Nothing. Oh boy.
All right, so they felt they could condition it, and they did.
Throw out our whole thing then. That's not right.
That's why it took so long, was they were going back and forth. How many days does DEP have to respond to a denial? Or is there a time limit?
I don't know.
Because, yeah, this thing was going on since, what, July?
June 14th, they got the appeal.
So yeah, they were making changes as recently as October 26th.
Yep, very recent.
I don't know. After just looking at this, it's like, what shot do we even have?
No, exactly, which is what, that was Jimmy's point, Bob.
Yeah. I felt better before reading this.
It's very depressing. It's very depressing.
Well, but
Send it to me.
the
How
bottom
come I
line,
don't-
is, if they're gonna take if someone else is gonna take a shot, we want to do everything we can to support them. That's all.
Yeah, oh, definitely agree, 100%, Peter.
So that's it. So, okay. Rebecca, thank you for taking the lead on reaching out and,
What's the decision here? What's the final conclusion?
You can't make it. You can't make a final decision, conclusion.
Rebecca's gonna reach out and say, if you
get
send something-
information on what's going on, what they're planning on doing, and whether there's an opportunity for us to collaborate in some way.
I wouldn't say collaborate, I would say join in there.
Join in, yes. Okay. All right.
We're not in a position to do much original work between now and the deadline.
I understand that. Okay, that's great. So that's good. And Rebecca, you'll let us know when you hear anything, or if you get any response.
Of course. Do we want to talk about more hours for Rebecca?
Yeah.
Yes. I authorize all of them.
I don't think
Anything
it's
you
gonna
want.
happen.
I'm not sure how you feel, Haley.
I'll authorize anything you guys need. I'll sign
Hey,
off
how-
on whatever.
How many hours does Elaine get in Winchester? I forget. Did you?
5.
How many?
Winchester, she's 30 something. She's full time in Winchester.
Oh, you mean, I thought you meant from the town.
No, in Winchester. Yeah, just curious.
Yes.
Most towns are full time.
Right.
Or they have some combination that creates almost a full-time schedule. Sometimes they have an administrator.
Isn't it true that if you go over 19 hours, they have to give you benefits?
Yep.
So that's the issue. Among other things.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably the underlying issue, though, right?
I don't know if I don't
Magic
know.
number.
I don't know.
So we can't do anything for this budget this year though, because it's already been, the budget has been approved for this year already, right? So
Right.
Yeah,
don't
we're
know.
halfway through the year.
So what does the town do though if there's like a crazy storm or accident or whatever? Do we just say, sorry, we can't do anything about it, it's not in the budget? There's always some padding to something somewhere, right?
We've got money in our bucket. Why can't we use that? That'd be a
You
good
can
use.
use that. You can
Because
use
you
that with that.
can't-
You don't have to ask permission to use that.
Yeah.
How would you fund it beyond 1 year? That's the problem.
Also,
Don't have to
how
worry
do you-
about
But it
that
doesn't
now.
Would that be the
because-
interim solution? And
No,
then
because
budget
then
comes along?
it doesn't cover the cost of benefits and she'd be in the
Right.
retirement system.
And also we would need to we couldn't issue to do withholding. We're not employers.
No,
Why? No, there's no way.
Right.
I don't know. We couldn't? Is there a way?
Well, the problem becomes is if I work more than the 19 hours and they don't offer me benefits, they can get in trouble. Which is why I am to work 19 and not
Right.
19, not anything more.
So you must have benefits through your husband.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, I've
So-
only been here for 20 years or
So
whatever.
you can deny the benefits. They can offer them to you and you can deny them.
Good.
But
There's
they
a lot
don't
of
know
good
that.
shit. Well, the reality is that that I was told that there's a possibility they'll revisit it at in the next budget season. That doesn't, the next fiscal year, of course, starting in July. So that means I would just sit around and wait till July to see if maybe, or wait until they propose a budget, which I suppose is what, January, February, or March, sometime in there, and then it could be implemented in July. If they approved it, but there's no way to guarantee anything. Another complicated and interesting tidbit is I wonder what happens if we get that grant. I don't know who's gonna work on it.
Yep. So I guess I think we should write a letter, and I don't know whether or not, again, I'm gonna offer our chair or vice chair to actually go to a Board of Appeals. A town council meeting. I don't know, so let me back up. We do a letter to town council, copy the finance committee with all the reasons why we would like more hours for Rebecca. And then so at least they have it, right? There's no urgency in doing that, but unfortunately it doesn't help Rebecca in the interim, right? But at least we're on record that we want this.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you guys the letter the memo that I sent to
I
Steve.
did, right.
I can't remember if I sent that to you guys or not.
You did. It was
Right.
good. It was good.
Yeah.
The problem is you sent it only to Steve Mayo.
Yeah, that was following a conversation I had.
No,
And
I know.
Okay.
Rebecca, it's interesting though, that to hear, I'm not the most original soul in the world, so but it moves my needle when I hear the other guy, when you ask what the other guy's doing, and if all the other towns are hiring full-time persons, because that's what this requires. And we're finding that we're up against you not having enough hours. And all the other towns, having more hours. And so it seems to me that's a pretty compelling reason right there. What we're trying to do is keep up with what appears to be, because there's nothing about our town that suggests that we have less, fewer environmental issues than
Well, if you look at her workload, it's definitely,
No, I'm just saying, it just strikes me as it's just, yeah, I agree. But but my point is only that alone should do it. That if all the other towns are doing it and we're not, then we should be in line with the other towns. And the very thing that we're not doing is creating a problem right now.
Yeah, the issue is historically we've never gotten more hours, right? And so, I guess before during the period when Elaine was the only person and Rebecca was not here, we got by on that number of hours, right? But now not so much.
Well, yeah, we've had much more major projects in the last couple of years between
Right. So it's different.
Power Parkway, the
Right.
Vogue, the high school. Before it was like single family houses,
Right.
little
Right.
things. But now it's major projects that require a lot of work.
There's a lot of building going on too. When you think about all the building going on by the train station, there's just a lot of major projects going on.
Yeah, we thought we're pretty much
Is
filled
this
out.
is the kind of thing that could be brought up at town meeting, which is the following Saturday, the 18th, I could believe it is?
You can't bring it up at town meeting.
You need a
That's
warrant.
a long way in advance.
Right, but didn't it say something about other matters brought before?
I don't know. No.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's a town meeting thing.
I wonder if a letter to town council, not go to Steve, even if it went to each of the councilors.
So Jimmy, I just suggested that 5 minutes ago, but
Sounds way better now.
I love it.
Yeah, but you didn't say it like you
Go
meant
on,
it.
pipe to get
Jimmy, I said a letter to town council. We can copy Steve Mayo.
Hey,
And we can
Your
copy
New
the
York,
finance committee.
your New York side is showing through.
Yeah, you're taking swipes left and right, Jim. All right, so okay. Well, I think we're all in agreement that we've got to increase your hours, Rebecca.
So I'll volunteer to write the letter, but it's gonna come from, I guess it should be signed by maybe Jimmy as chair, or
We would all
somebody-
sign it. No, we could all sign it.
Oh, good, okay. So we all
Right.
sign it. It's
Right.
directed towards the town council. we're copying Steve Mayo and I would copy the finance committee.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's essential if we're gonna push it, if we're gonna try to push it as a
Right.
budget matter.
You know, they're hiring another town planner.
I saw that in your email, Rebecca.
How many
Hiring another
hours?
town planner,
They
which means they
plan
expect
for
that
more
workload to be growing.
Hours?
Wait, what?
19 hours?
Nope, full-time, 38 and a half.
Wow.
Can that planner plan for more hours for conservation?
Well,
I think they're supposed to be.
that's an indication of the workload growing, isn't it?
Hmm.
Rebecca, can I ask what your billable, what your hourly rate is?
You can ask.
Can you tell me?
You call in the morning.
Be honest with you, it's like direct deposit, so I don't actually know.
You can talk,
Okay.
you can talk about that offline. I think you should.
Okay, I can do that too. I will look and get back to you.
Okay.
I can tell you that because I think Judy, thank you, pulled up that whole, I think last year, Judy, correct me if I'm wrong. Last year, the entire department, including all employees and all supplies and all charges and all memberships and all everything came to $60,000.
Yeah,
Right,
Judy has
Judy?
a copy. Judy has access to the
Yeah, I
budget.
mean, it's all public record anyway.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. So it wasn't that everything total, like the whole entire conservation department cost $60,000 a year. And that was the most expensive year because it was less than that previous years. Is that right? Did she say that's right? Is that right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, we got a copy of it at budget time, proposed and actual and prior year and all that stuff.
So, and we, every single year, with the exception of the
We've been
1%
pretty flat.
salary increase or whatever they give us, I don't know what it is, 1%, 2%, whatever. It's exactly the same as every year. I almost never change it.
Yep.
Ever.
Right.
And the same, like the only thing I've changed in the past couple of years has been, I think a membership price went up by like $50 or something. I mean, literally it's the same thing every year.
Okay. Well, it's good. So we're gonna do that. That's good.
So what would be the hours goal? Is it like 40 even? Is it 38 and a half? Or is that the magic? I don't know what they work in town hall.
But maybe you just say equivalent to a full-time employee, whatever that is.
I had been doing 30.
Oh, that's what you said, Rebecca. You wanted to increase
Yeah,
the 30.
I had been doing 30.
So you've been doing 30 and they've been paying you for 30?
Yeah. I got permission. I got permission to do it. It's very complicated, but I had written a request because there were some big projects that were obviously coming up and they were very, very, very time consuming. And so I got permission to do it for a short period of time. And then it just kind of kept going and I was there was so much stuff to do that I was banking it for comp time. So I was just getting paid the 19 and I was like,
I see.
Work as comp time. But then I got told I really am not supposed to carry that much comp time. So then that left nothing. Like I can only work 19 because I have the comp time. I think I can only carry 24 hours or I think it's what it is. And I have 24 hours. So I can't work more than 19.
So the request is for 30 hours. Is that correct?
That's what I was doing. It seemed to work well.
Okay.
So we want to request a permanent 30-hour authorization in the next budget.
Well, a permanent one is for 1 year. Remember,
Well, obviously, it's annual appropriations always, but.
Would you want more than 30?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't done 30 here, so I don't know what that's going to look like. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like,
yeah.
And I said this, I think, Jim, I was talking to you. The reality is you guys write all these conditions and I have no idea if they ever get done because I can never go back to these sites and like, I suppose we catch it at a certificate of compliance time, but there's so much stuff that just, because there's the requirements for the administrative part of it all and just it's overwhelming. And those are things that are non-negotiable. You have to get the agenda out 48 hours. That legal notice have to be done 5 days and you have to submit things 21 days after and blah, blah, blah. So you guys know that. So there's just so much of that is necessary to be done first. And there are some weeks where it leaves things that time for me to do other things. And there's a lot of times it doesn't. It really just depends. How many resident calls, what's going on in town. I mean, just a variety, just really, really depends. So I don't know. And also, I also am interested in, I don't know what the regulations, they're revising them right now. And part of the revisions are going to include climate resiliency topics. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm sure we're going to get training on it at some point when that happens. I think that's awesome. And I'm really interested in seeing what that's going to be all about. I don't know what kind of work, if that's going to change a workload. I have no idea. I think stormwater is probably a little bit more complicated. Like you were saying, the single family houses with the dry wells is pretty simple. And now I think we're understanding it a little bit better. Yeah, I don't know. There's never time for training. There's never time for conferences. There's never time for any of that stuff, ever. So
I mean,
I
it sounds
guess the
like
reality is I would
if you
love it
had-
to be better.
If you had a full, whatever, 38 and a half or 40 hours, whatever it is, you could utilize it, I'm sure.
Probably. I don't know if I want 40, Bob.
All right, we'll go with 30.
Just hold on a second. I still got kids at home.
60 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, Elaine has 5, so
Right.
together they can't be more than a full time.
Okay. So 30, go with 30 in a letter.
Okay.
All right.
All righty, I will prepare the letter.
Okay.
The time,
you.
I mean, again, we have more time to do it, but it should be done before the beginning of the next budget cycle, so.
Right.
Yep.
All right, can I make the motion?
Anything else? Well, hang on.
Oh,
Judy,
real quick. Rebecca, did you get my ZBA comment things? I don't know if I did them right or not.
Yes, I got your email, and no, I did not look at them.
Okay, that's totally fine.
I'm sure it's fine. I'll look at it tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for doing that, Haley.
No
yes,
problem.
thank you.
Don't
Judy,
say
do
that
you
yet.
have
Might be wrong.
anything for Judy? Judy?
We put her to sleep.
Not answering.
I'm all set.
Okay. Rebecca, anything else?
Nope, that's everything.
Okay, anybody, anything else? All right, who's gonna make the motion?
Motion.
Second. All right, all in favor? Haley,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Yes,
Teresa, and I also vote yes.
so we'll
Right.
see you Sunday at 8:15.
Yep.
Have fun.
Ugh.
Thanks.
We'll call you, Bob.
I'll be up. Don't worry.
Bye.
All right. Good
Bye.
night.
Bye-bye.